Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. This is where MAGA comes to talk. You know, the Melania movie has broken just massive records, which is an indicator of how well things are going for Trump, the MAGA movement, and our great country in the midterm elections. The film is a indicator of how well we're going to do in the midterms, which is control Congress and win seats. That's the goal, right? The Melania movie broke a major record. It is the highest grossing documentary film in 10 years. And this weekend, we've had a massive cold spell. Here in Florida, it has snowed in parts of Florida, further south than I've ever heard of snow before. You've seen the snow pileups around the country, the freezing temperatures. And this is a weekend when the Melania movie opened up, when the weather was just so bad, a lot of people couldn't or wouldn't leave their house. And still, even with this massive cold wave, this massive blizzard, snows all over the country, it still broke a 10-year box office record, the highest grossing documentary film in a decade. Could you imagine if this was in the summertime and the weather was perfect? Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. You know, when I saw this movie, Melania, yesterday, there was no doubt in my mind it was going to be good, but I didn't realize how good. You know, and I returned to the movie theater for the first time in 7 years. I've not been to a movie theater in 7 years, and I went yesterday to the movies for the first time in 7 years and saw this movie because I wanted to see it. You know, usually movies, they come on demand, they come on one of the streaming apps so fast that there's no major rush to go out to the movies. You know, you can see it at home so fast and cheap. And our TVs at home are just incredible now, right? How many inches is your TV? I have a 70, it's either 75 or 80 inch, I can't remember, which is, it's pretty big compared to what I used to have when I was younger. And I've, you know, got great picture, great sound and everything else. You know, it takes a lot to get me out to the movies, and Melania did. And there is no question in my mind that Melania should very well win the Academy Award for Best Documentary Film. It is that good. The cinematography is amazing. The storytelling is amazing. And if you've seen the movie, I'd certainly like to hear from you. And not only did it make $8 million over the weekend, but breaking that 10-year box office record during a snowstorm, freezing weekend from coast to coast in the United States. But the movie theater, not just the one I was in, because I've been hearing this from listeners who have been messaging me over the weekend after they saw the movie, you could hear people crying throughout the movie in the theater. You could hear the sniffles there. People were crying during this movie. And when it was over, people applaud. How often have you been to a movie when people applaud when it's over in the theater? And that's really an amazing thing to happen, because when people are applauding in a movie theater, the people in the movie or the people who made the film, they can't hear you. People, you know, when people applaud at the end of a movie, it's just they're so excited. Even though they know the people in the movie and the movie makers can't hear them, they still applaud. That is such a rare thing. And if you think about it over the years, when in your life have you been in a movie theater, the movie is over, and people applaud? And not only that, in my theater, people were crying throughout the movie. People applauded at the end and stayed for the credits, just for the hopes that and they didn't have some trick like with, all the Marvel Universe movies where you know there's going to be a scene at the end. People did not want the movie to end. And I'm so glad that I went and saw it in the theater. And you should too. And I know a lot of you did. And if you did see it, I certainly would like to hear from you. What Melania is about, it's about the 20 days up to the president's second inauguration. And what makes Melania so good are so many factors. But one great thing about Melania, when I say Melania, I mean the movie, you really get to see what Melania Trump is really like, which we don't really get to see that much. We've seen her around over the years. You know, President Trump came down the escalator with Melania over 10 years ago, and we've heard her talk here and there, an interview from time to time, maybe at a podium giving a speech or an introduction. But we've never really seen her in her private life. And one of the things that was really amazing to me about Melania is how normal Melania Trump is, right? You know, she's first lady again. She's a billionaireess, but, you know, she's a self-made millionaire. She was a multi-millionaire. She's worth $3-4 million when she met the president, and speaks 5 languages, very smart woman. But, you know, to be so normal, down to earth, and connect with regular everyday people like she does, that's amazing. This movie, when I came out of the movie theater yesterday, I made a video on YouTube. I did a YouTube live stream as soon as I walked out of the screen, right? I was still in the movie theater when I started it. And I said that this is the most important movie ever made. And that's not something I said lightly. There's lots of great movies. But this movie, Melania, I say it's the most important movie ever made. The reason I say that is because people will watch this movie in 200 years, even further out. It is a historical document. We've never seen anything like this. An inside look, not just at the First Lady, but the first family and the president in the last 20 days leading up to the inauguration. And we saw the inauguration before, during, and after. And we've never seen an inauguration like that. In fact, we even see the president and the First Lady when they arrive back at the White House in the residence after all of the inaugural balls. These are things that we've never seen before. And that's what makes this a historical document, right? Does that make sense to you guys? And I think anyone who's seen the movie will agree with me about that. You know, there's been so much made over Jackie Kennedy, who redecorated the White House, and then she gave a tour of the White House. If you ever go back and watch that TV special with Jackie Kennedy giving the White House tour, first of all, she's stoned out of her mind. She's completely high from Dr. Feelgood. I don't know what Jackie was on, but she was Quaaludes. I don't know what they were using back then. But she's high out of her mind. And it's not that interesting. And the film quality is so poor on that. This movie, first off, is in high definition, 4K and everything, so and it'll be forever preserved. But Melania she's not on. She's herself. And this may be the first time that we've really seen her like that. You know, to be a normal, down-to-earth person when you've grown up like her, oh my goodness, wow. Mike the board op, he just texted me. He's got ice on the window of his car here in Florida. Isn't that something? Wow. Wow, that's amazing. That's how cold it is in Florida. But, you know, like in the beginning of the movie, she gets into an elevator, and there's an elevator guy, because, you know, fancy building and all where the Trumps live, you know, and she thanks him. She says hello to him when she gets in. When she leaves, she thanks him. And it's amazing to me that someone like her is so absolutely normal. Not many people can say that, you know, and you look at some of these others that have been First Lady, they're anything but normal. And she's, and you got to understand too, she was already First Lady, right? Like I remember once Michelle Obama, when she was First Lady, was on that reality show, The Biggest Loser, the weight loss show. Remember that show? And when you got to see what she was like, she was a terrible person. She was working out and sweating with the contestants on the show. And she says, could somebody get the first lady a towel? That's how Michelle Obama talked. Could someone get the first lady a towel? She's using the third person. She thinks she's a royalty or something. I'm like, what? And I remember when Hillary Clinton first became president. Hold on, guys. Hold on. When Hillary Clinton first became president, she fired somebody, and the reason she fired them was completely insane. She fired somebody that worked in the White House, one of the staff in the residence. She caught them on the phone talking to Barbara Bush, President Bush 41's wife, the first lady. And Barbara Bush had called this guy at the White House for help on her computer. He used to help her with her computer at home. So he called her. She called him at the White House for some help on the computer, and he was giving it to her. Hillary Clinton caught him on the phone, and she fired him for talking to Barbara Bush, a former first lady. That's the kind of person you had with Hillary Clinton. So, you know, these other first ladies have a history of just being terrible people. Not Melania. You know, there's another thing too that was hilarious to me when I can't remember who called who. This is early on in the movie. Maybe somebody that saw the movie will remember. But Melania is on the phone with the president. I don't remember if she called him or if he called her. But anyway, they're on the phone talking. She's at Trump Tower, and she says, "Hello, Mr. President." You know, I was like, "Oh wow." You know, and this was amazing. And they were talking about the election had just been certified, is what they were talking about. And she called him Mr. President, which I thought was super cool and super funny and everything else. And you got to see the president and the first lady together in very personal times. You know, when they come back to the White House after the inaugural balls, they're up in the residence, and we've never really seen the residence too much. And they're walking, they get off the elevator, they're in the residence, walking towards their bedroom, and then the president goes over to the right, and I'm like, where's he going? And he goes in this door, and Melania says, oh, there's somebody in there, and then the president goes in there, and I'm like, oh, is that one of the guest rooms in the residence? What's going on? And then Melania waves to the cameraman, come on in. It's the they're in the private residence of the White House. It's the kitchen and pantry for the first family. And you get to see the president in the refrigerator getting out some snacks and some drinks. It was kind of funny, you know these moments. But you got to see them together. And, you know, all these trolls and never Trumpers and Trump derangement syndrome suffering losers and everything else who are always out there talking about, oh, you know, they're not a real, all this stuff. These two are so tight and so in love at a level that very few married couples are. I'm here to tell you, it was amazing. And one of the things that Melania says in the movie about the president, she said they tried to kill him and they tried to incarcerate him. You know, they tried to kill my husband. They tried to incarcerate him. And yeah, they did. And it's interesting when she says they. She puts Butler and the golf course shooting, because that's what that references, in the same category with Fannie Willis and Letitia and Bragg and the lawfare and Jack Smith and the Democrats. Isn't that something? So that's an indicator and really proof that was an attempted political assassination in Butler and at the golf course. That these weren't some lone lunatic, never Trumpers who went out on their own. Melania, who's in the inner circle and gets all the briefings because she's the wife of the president and she knows what's going on, is a confirmation that the same people that were trying, the never Trumpers, the same people that were trying to put him in jail, which is, of course, the political establishment, were the same people that tried to assassinate him. I thought that was an amazing comment that she made. And because she knows. You even get to see the president practicing his inauguration speech And Melania's in there giving him her opinions on what should be in the speech, and some things get added. There's a word she wanted added, unifier, and it was kind of cool. I've never seen any president do this. And Melania goes in this room. I'm not sure where that room was. Was it at the Blair House? Wherever it was. And the president's standing there at a podium with the teleprompters, and he says, "Oh, I'm rehearsing the speech for tomorrow." And Melania sits down, and he's doing it, and she tells him to add unifier. And he says, "Okay." And he says, "Don't put that in the movie." He says, and she says, "No, put it in the movie." And you get to see the connection they have to one another, and it's just a beautiful thing. But this movie, when I tell you that it's deserving of an Academy Award, I mean that. I knew going in that the movie was going to be very good, and I knew I'd like it. All right, come on. I'm a MAGA guy. There's no way that I am not going to like the movie. And, going in. And that's true with MAGA people. But I didn't realize it was going to be this great and this much of an inside look. I did not read anything about the movie before I saw it. And that's unusual. Usually, if I have been to a movie theater in 7 years, but, I'll go see a Star Wars movie, or if there's a new Star Trek movie, I'll go out because I got to see that on the first day. And I'll read about it, and I'll pretty much know all about the movie before I go to the theater. That's just the way it is. Not with this, though. I didn't want to know anything. The only thing I read about was that because I saw it on Sunday and it came out on Friday, I knew it had broken box office. I knew it had a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Right now it's got a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. But that's basically all I knew. Okay? I didn't even know that it was of the 20 days before leading up to the inauguration and all that, and showing the inauguration all the way through until they came home that night at 2 a.m., the next morning. I didn't know all that. None of that. I didn't know what the storyline was in it, nothing. And I went out of my way not to, because I wanted to go into the movie without any spoilers, which is such an unusual thing for me, to go to a movie that I got to see and not have the spoilers. So I didn't know. I knew it was about her and the campaign and such, but I didn't know if it was the last year of the campaign. I thought, well, maybe we'll see her reaction when Butler happened. No, it's the last 20 days, and it's amazing. You get to see her with her fashion designers getting all of her inaugural clothes together. You get to even see her sing to Michael Jackson music in the car. For people to be so rich, so famous, and so influential, and be so normal is so unusual. But here, look at this. This is, here's the headline on Fox. Melania earns $8 million opening weekend, marking best documentary debut in over 10 years. So if you've not seen it, do not wait for it to come on Amazon. Go see it this week or next weekend. A film success is often judged by the second weekend. They like to do that. But this is the highest documentary box office returns in a decade during a nationwide snowstorm and freezing temperatures. I mean, it was tough. If it wasn't for this movie, I wouldn't have gone out to see it. I didn't. Yesterday, it was so cold yesterday, and I'm like, oh man, I should have seen it on Saturday when it wasn't so cold. But I went out, and I saw it at a 9:50 a.m. showing. 9:50 a.m. I'm a morning person, as you can tell, because I'm here in the mornings all the time, early in the mornings. And I was expected to be the only one in the theater, and I was not, at 9:50 a.m., although there were 20 minutes of previews. I'd not been, I know there's always 15, 20 minutes of previews, but I had not been to the movies in so long. I'm like, well, maybe they don't have such long previews anymore because they're so desperate to get people in the movie theater. But no, they still do that. So, it started at 10:10 instead of 9:50 because of the 20 minutes of endless previews. But there were people there. And you know what? Not only were there people there were people lined up for the second showing, which really surprised me because it was Sunday morning and so early. And the town I live in is kind of a liberal town, and it was freezing. I mean, we had our coldest day in 15 years yesterday. And a lot of people that you would think would go see a movie like this that are conservative, that are MAGA, are in church and things like that. And still people were waiting for the next showing. But if you go to the Rotten Tomatoes, this is of the verified, these are people that have seen the movie, 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Those are verified people who had seen the movie. I don't know if I've ever seen 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Have you? I've seen 83, 85, 88 and things. People are like, oh, wow, 83% Rotten Tomatoes. That's got to be good. 99. Now, of course, the critics, the left-wing media critics, they give it 10%. Who cares what those liberal writers think? So the press, the Hollywood press, give it 10%. It shows you what hacks they are. How can 99% of verified moviegoers love it, but only 10% of critics, right? Because they're hateful, biased people. And they figure if they trash the Melania movie, maybe you know what critics are? They're screenwriters that haven't been able to sell their script, that haven't been able to sell their movie. So so they figure if they write negative reviews, maybe they'll be able to sell that screenplay that's on their desktop and has been there for years and years and years that they wrote that no one's interested in. But 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm sure there's been something else that's had that, and that's not opening night. That's as of Monday morning. So that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. People saw it. 99% verified moviegoers who saw the film loved it. I've never seen 99% before. Have any of you seen 99%? Not the first night, because a lot of times the first night, the people that really love it, right? They'll love it and they'll go, that are like waiting to see it and they're all excited and they're a fan of the actor or whatever franchise it is. They'll give it high ratings the first night. But after the full weekend, after you've had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, to be 99%. I've never seen that. Now, I don't live and die by Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't always go and look at Rotten Tomatoes. Although years ago when I used to go to the movies, I would look at Rotten Tomatoes before I would go sometimes. But as far as I know, 99%, there's not many movies that do that. Mm-mm. And again, those are verified ratings, meaning that people that they know that Rotten Tomatoes has verified actually saw the film. And another thing about the movie is you don't just get to see her with the president in some great moments. You get to see some of these Democrats when they get on Inauguration Day. And when you see when it's time for the inauguration and they're doing the introductions, the cameras are backstage before they come out, and you can see Kamala Harris standing next to Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris is fuming with anger. She is in a rage. She is so sick that she has to be there and that she's going to be going out there and she has to walk out there. She is so ticked off and annoyed and everything else, when she's standing back there. When you get to see these really great moments we've never seen. There's one scene where the president and the first lady, they're sitting at a table, and next to the president is the Secret Service agent that saved him there on the stage, the fight guy who's now the director of the Secret Service. And they're being briefed on the inauguration parade. And this is before it was decided that it was going to be moved inside. And they tell the president, okay, now you and the first lady, you're going to go to the White House first. And you're for the tea, it's a traditional thing that the incoming and the outgoing presidents and first ladies have tea. And then they tell the president, you and President Biden are going to be driving to the inauguration in the car together. And then President Trump says, oh, that'll be an interesting ride. won't it? That'll be some interesting conversation. And Melania starts cracking up. It's hilarious, and they were talking about how there would be routes on the parade where they could get out of the car to wave at the people and everything else. And you get to see the concern that Melania has over this because of Butler and the golf course. And she talks to them about it. And then it turned out it was inside. And she even says it was moved inside because of weather, but really it was because of safety. And it's just a beautiful thing. But when the president and first lady arrive at the White House, they're greeted by Biden and Jill Biden. And Jill Biden, they're waiting outside the front door of the White House. Jill Biden is livid. She's fuming. She is, you can tell, she's like physically ill that President Trump is coming back in as president of the United States. And Joe Biden is so mentally gone from whatever cognitive issue he has that he's like a vegetable. He doesn't know what's going on. It's really strange and scary, actually, when you get to see how far gone Biden was on that last day, on Inauguration Day. He doesn't know what's going on. He's so out of it. And that's who was running the country with the auto pen. Jill Biden and him and whatever staffers had access to the auto pen. And the Blair House, which is the guest house of the White House, is where the president-elect stays with the first lady before the inauguration. And when President Trump, there's an incredible scene where the president and the first lady are leaving the Blair House to go over to the White House for this tea party with Joe and Jill Biden. And the Blair House staff are there. They love the Trumps. The staff are, maybe it's the no tax on tips, I don't know. But the staff are so excited. And the staff at the Blair House, they get to see everybody, all the presidents, all the first ladies, all the international dignitaries and world leaders that come there. And the staff at the Blair House are as excited to see the president and first lady, Melania Trump, as if I were there or any MAGA person. I've never seen the excitement from the staff like that at the White House. And when the president and first lady, after the inauguration, they go back to the White House before the inaugural balls. Well, the staff, he was just president again 4 years ago, so they know the people that work there. And the staff that are in the White House, you can see, they can't hide it. And I'm talking about the butlers and those types of people, the wait staff and those type of people in the private residence. They are so excited that the Trumps are back. They can't hide it. It's really a cool thing when you've seen it. And those of you that have seen the movie know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm going to wait till after the top of the hour to take calls. I've got a lot of other things that I'm going to cover on the program. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is The Brian Craig Show, and this, of course, is where MAGA comes to talk. I'm live on the radio in the mornings, and the radio show will be starting in a few minutes. I don't know the exact time we're going to be coming on the radio yet, but we'll be on the radio in just a few minutes, and I will take calls after the top of the hour as the radio show begins. So if you would like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are. I'd really love to hear from people who saw the movie, but you have not had to see the movie to discuss it. Your opinions on it certainly are welcome, but I'm hoping to hear from those of you who have seen Melania. The number is 888-465-2631. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's gonna ship absolutely free.
I want to share with you the most chaotic, funny Dungeons & Dragons podcast with an absolutely insane premise that is sure to take the podcast world by storm. Roll for Rivals, hosted by Judah and produced by Dice Clash Chronicles, breaks the mold by having a split perspective podcast where the players are incentivized to fight one another. This villain group is running around spreading chaos while the heroes are chasing them down, picking up the pieces. If this sounds interesting, or if you want to support the idea, go check out Roll for Rivals on all podcatchers or follow their social media, roll_for_rivals on Instagram and roll.for.rivals on TikTok. And to quote Judah from the show, roll high, play bold, and let the rivalries begin.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. And, you know, another thing about this incredible movie, Melania, breaking the 10-year box office record, the highest grossing documentary in 10 years, receiving a 99% among moviegoers that have actually been verified to have seen the film at 99% is amazing. This is like a poll for the midterms, right? It shows you where the hearts and mind of the people of the United States are. And in this midterm election year that we are in, okay, it shows you that the American people are MAGA. Because who went and saw this movie over the weekend, right? Most everyone who saw this movie over the weekend is a likely voter, right? Not only are they a likely voter, they're likely someone who's going to vote Republican in the midterms. Who, you know, not many liberals will go and see this movie. They won't want to see it. So and we had this cold snap and blizzard over the weekend. Coldest day in the state of Florida in 15 years was yesterday. And the same was true across the country with this weather. People can't get out. Icy roads, snow roads, cold, you know. And still, if this had come out during great weather, the box office, it may have been even a bigger record. Probably would have. More people would have been able to see it. But it gives you, I mean, to go out and see this movie over this weekend with the weather that we had in this country shows that not only is it a MAGA country, but people were really jumping over hurdles and bending over backwards to go and see it. So, ask yourself this. Why did people rush out in record numbers to see this movie? You know, and some of it is, well, we're just such fans of Trump. You want to, it's like going to a Trump rally. And I'll agree with you. It did feel like going to a Trump rally to a certain extent because I was very excited to see it. But people went to this movie for a couple of reasons over the weekend. One, to show their support for Trump. That's one reason, right? A lot of people just wanted to see it like a Trump rally. But the word of mouth on the movie was great. This 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. People saw it Friday. They came out of the theater and started posting all over social media how wonderful it was and how people were giving standing ovations and crying during the movie. So that led to a huge turnout to see Melania on Saturday. And then Saturday, you have a whole day and night of people doing the same thing. And then on Sunday, boom, theaters filled nationwide, even during this incredibly terrible blizzard-like weather we've had. And it shows you the word of mouth on the movie through social media is so incredible. Hold on, I need to check with Mike when we're going to be on. Okay, because I haven't heard back from him what time we're going live. Yeah, do you understand what I mean? And how does that play? This is like a scientific poll. Okay, we got a couple minutes and then we'll be live. This is like a scientific poll with this movie, right? Mm-hmm. It really truly is. And it shows you where people, their hearts and minds are in this midterm election. And their hearts and minds are with Trump. And if you're with Trump, if you're supporting the Trump family, if you're supporting Melania, you're going to vote Republican, right? Because, this was number 3 at the box office over the weekend against regular movies, highest grossing documentary in a decade. 99% of people who saw it liked it, according to Rotten Tomatoes. These are all scientific polling indicators indicating a strong Trump, MAGA, conservative, Republican victory over the Democrats in November. So if this momentum continues, not only will we maintain control of the House and maintain control of the Senate, but we'll gain seats in both. And we'll win the governor's elections. We'll win some of those, and state legislatures as well. And that always trickles down to local level, which is important, right? City commission, county commissions, school boards, and things like this. This success of this movie points to a major MAGA swamping victory in November. But, like I've been telling you guys, we will win and gain in the midterm elections if we swamp them at the polls. And this, President Trump, he understands the media. And there are several things that are set up to happen over this year to keep the excitement going, right? Melania, this is the beginning of the year, boom. We've got this great movie that's doing so incredibly well. We're going to have, the Trump rallies are going to be back. He's going to campaign like it's a presidential election year, which is very unusual for sitting presidents in the midterms in their second term. But he is going to campaign like it's a presidential election year. Then, of course, in July, a lot of things are going to happen. Well, and also right now, people are doing their taxes, and people are going to be getting the largest tax returns they've ever gotten, according to Scott Bessett. And, I've been talking to Jamie Levac from Swift Tax, and, on the show, and he's been telling us that he's seeing larger than normal returns from people. So people are like, oh, wow, this is Trump money. Look what Trump's done for me. Then we've got, in July, we've got this 250th anniversary of our great country celebration. Then after that, the savings accounts are going to be in full effect for kids. Oh, yeah, I forgot about, we're going to get our bonus money, $2,000 each, from the profits on the tariffs at some point over the year. President Trump there's all these things going on this year to keep the momentum going and the excitement going. And what do the Democrats have? Nothing. They've got nothing. All right, now if you're on hold, stand by. I'm waiting for Mike at the radio station to switch us on, and we'll take calls and everything else once the radio show begins. And if you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free no matter where you are listening. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. All right, Mike's telling me where I'm going to be on. But I'm hoping that some of you that have seen the movie call me today, because, and another thing about this movie, the word of mouth on the movie is so strong. Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay. So the word of mouth on the movie is so strong, people are going to be talking about this movie here in the beginning of the week, that between that and the weather. Okay, we're going to be on in about 3 minutes. The radio show is going to begin. And then it's going to be a very short segment, and we're going to have to break. Okay, we're going to be on in 3 minutes. Okay, guys. Okay. All right. Less than 3 minutes, the radio show will begin. So today, people are going to be talking in the media about the movie like I am. They saw Melania. They're going to want to talk about it. And when the word of mouth is great on a movie, that's what gets people to see it the second weekend. And so everyone who's seen the movie, there's no way you could go to this movie, no matter what your political background is, and not come out loving Melania Trump. There's no way at all. I'm here to tell you, no way at all. And because she's such a nice person and such a normal person, right? I mean, this is the way it is. Now, if you're on hold, guys, stand by. We're coming on in 2 minutes. It's going to be a real short segment, and I'm going to do a quick intro, and we'll take the break. And then after the break, I'm going to go to the phone. So if you're on hold, I'll take the calls in the order in which they were received. So don't lose your spot. Hang in there. And we're having a little rough start at the radio station this morning. There's some issues up there, and that's why we're coming on late on the radio. We're coming on about 10 minutes late due to some issues. And no, it's 99% among moviegoers on Rotten Tomatoes. You know, and by the way, anyone who goes by the critics on Rotten Tomatoes today, that's all BS. No one 90 seconds and we'll be live. No one goes by critics on Rotten Tomatoes. They always go by verified movie users. Watchers, but because the liberals, you know, are all about deception, all of a sudden the liberals are going to care about nothing but the critics, because the liberal critics gave it terrible reviews, while moviegoers gave it a 99%. Verified people who have seen the going 99%. All right, we've got 1 minute, and then we'll be live. It's supposed to be time for the first break, but we're going to come on live on the radio. And I'll do a quick intro of what we're talking about. Then we'll break, and then we'll come back. All right, guys, hold on. Got about 30 seconds. 30 seconds, and we'll be live. Oh, man, I'm excited. I am excited. And I'm going to cover other things, too, by the way, guys. We'll get into Don Lemon, and there's a lot of other stories in the news that I'm going to cover, but it's so important for everyone to share their thoughts on Melania. All right, 10 seconds. Stand by, guys. Welcome to the program, everyone. It is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. There's going to be a very short segment because we're a little behind on our schedules, and then we'll take our first break, and then we'll be normal for the rest of the show. But I saw Melania yesterday, which, and I do not say this lightly, Melania, in my opinion, is the greatest movie ever made. And I'm going to tell you why. You know, think of all the movies you've seen in your life, right? What are the great movies you've seen? Well, you know what separates Melania from those movies? Melania is a movie that people will watch in this country 200 years from now. Melania is a historical documentary. Melania is a historical document that people will watch for the rest of eternity. It's part of American history. And no matter how great a movie you've seen in the past, whether it's Citizen Kane or Gone with the Wind or, Star Wars or Pulp Fiction, those are all going to fade. Not this one, because it's a part of presidential history. I saw this movie yesterday at the first showing at 9:50 in the morning, and, you know, Melania has broken a major box office record. Melania has the highest opening box office weekend of a documentary in a decade. And think about it. Here in Florida, yesterday, like today, it's freezing cold. We had the coldest day we've had in Florida in 15 years yesterday. It was snowing in parts of Florida yesterday, and places where it's never snowed, right? There's snowstorms and cold weather from coast to coast, and yet still Melania broke a decade-long record of the highest box office of any documentary film. Think about if it had been in a time of good weather, a nationwide blizzard going on, a nationwide cold spell, record snow, record cold, and still broke a 10-year record. If it had been a perfect weather weekend, who knows how big it would have been. That's amazing. Reports, not just from when I saw the movie, but from members of this audience. People were DMing me all over the weekend on different social media platforms after having seen the movie. And no matter where they were in the United States, I heard, and I had this experience when I saw the movie yesterday in Boca. People said the same thing. People were crying in the movie theater. People applauded at the end of the movie. You know, these are all major indicators of midterm election victories for Republicans. Rotten Tomatoes, which is the go-to of how well a movie is, among verified moviegoers, Rotten Tomatoes has Melania at 99%. I have never seen a movie at 99% on Rotten Tomatoes at the end of the opening weekend. Sometimes you'll see it on Friday, right, when a movie opens, because people are waiting for that movie. They're a fan of the franchise. They're a fan of an actor. So that the people that love the movie franchise or the actor are the first ones that normally see something on Friday, and they'll give it great ratings. But that it falls away by Sunday, and still a movie that's considered spectacular and perfect gets like 83 on Rotten Tomatoes. Melania is sitting at 99% on Rotten Tomatoes among verified moviegoers who saw the movie. 99%. I have never seen that before. Never. All right, we're going to take our first break of the week. It's Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. I hope to hear from people who saw Melania over the weekend, but I'd still like to hear from you whether or not you saw the movie. But those of you that saw the movie, you know, sharing your thoughts, sharing your opinions is very, very important. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
What if we've been asking the wrong questions about aliens all along? When people talk about non-human intelligence, they look to the skies, to UAPs, to massive craft and towering beings. But what if some of them have been here the entire time, much smaller and hiding in plain sight? In When the Fae Came, available online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon, author Martin Thomas explores a provocative idea that the beings we've called fairies, elves, dwarfs, and goblins may not be myth at all, but advanced non-human intelligences. Drawing from global sightings and early research, When the Fae Came connects underground and underwater colonies across places like Mexico, Canada, Malaysia, and Europe. Beings capable of invisibility, flight, and telepathic communication. This isn't fantasy, it's an investigation into how ancient stories may be misunderstood encounters with something real. If you're curious about where folklore ends and non-human intelligence begins, When the Fae Came asks questions most researchers avoid. Order your copy of When the Fae Came from author Martin Thomas online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon.
Now, if you notice, I've pulled up here on the screen, and I've kept it here, the Rotten Tomatoes page, and it shows 99% among verified moviegoers for Melania. And we'll be back on the radio in less than a minute, guys. We're still in break, and I'm keeping that up. If you watch in the chat, there's all these People say, no, it's 7%, it's 8%, it's 10%. Among verified moviegoers, it's at 99%. And the reason I have it and I'm keeping it there is because all these lying trolls who are just propagandists that don't care about the truth are saying it's not at 99%. So I have it up there on the screen showing you, and that is this morning. Okay, we've got about 30 seconds, and we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, and it is pinned in the live chat. All right? All right, we're back. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, talking about this great movie, Melania, that I saw yesterday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Oh, hey, Doc.
Hey, man. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well.
Oh, hey, that's good. That's good. How's your wife, man? She's doing okay?
She's doing okay.
Okay, that's good. Your daughter, too?
Everyone's fine.
Okay. Hey, well, I'm calling you about the Melania movie.
Excellent movie.
I know it made $8 million this weekend, but that's not even covering the marketing costs. And even what they paid her, I think they paid her like $28 million, and it was to make the movie. That's not even covering that, Brian.
Well,
It may have done good.
first of all, it wasn't good. It was great, according to people that saw it. That's just the first weekend. It's got many more weekends. Plus, it's an Amazon release, and it's going to be on Amazon with added scenes that aren't in the theatrical release soon as well.
Fine. You know fully well that movie. It's making its money. It's going to make its money in the movie theaters. That's what it makes its money at.
Oh, I'm going to buy it. No. See, what's going to happen is what's going to happen is when Melania is available on Amazon. Not only am I going to watch it, I'm going to buy it, and believe me, MAGA people are going to buy it. But here's the reality: man. This is not some Iron Man movie. This is a documentary film. And it has made more money than any documentary film in a decade on a snowstorm weekend. It broke a box office record that had been held for 10 years. So for you to try to act like it's a financial bomb, I mean, you're destroying your credibility even with the liberals that hear you.
It is, Brian. It is. I'm glad it made money. I'm glad you've been seeing it. But only people like you went seeing it. Oh, y'all MAGAs, y'all anything that Trump makes, he can walk around here. He can go.
Okay, so you say only MAGA people saw it. Okay, let's say that's true. I'll give you that. Okay, so if only MAGA people saw it, and it's the highest grossing documentary in 10 years, what does that tell you?
All the MAGA people went seeing it.
No. But it broke a box office record. The highest grossing documentary on opening weekend in 10 years. Again, what does that tell you?
Only MAGA went seeing it.
I'll
give you this.
It tells you that while what you said is probably true, most people that saw this movie are MAGA people. It tells you that this is a MAGA country. To break a 10-year held record?
It's not a MAGA country.
Then how to break the record? Then how to break the record?
It's not a MAGA country. It's not a MAGA country.
Then how to break the record? How to break the record?
I'll give you a lot of people went seeing it. MAGA people, but it's not a MAGA country, Brian.
If it's not a MAGA country, how did Melania break a 10-year record?
If you're saying this is a MAGA country, this is not a MAGA country, Brian. A lot of people, okay. I give you that. It did good. It did good. Okay, it did good. But it didn't cover the cost, Brian. They lost money on it.
It is opening weekend. Okay, it's been out for 3 days: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This movie is different.
We're never going to agree on it. So
you're just in denial. You're just in denial.
I'm not denying.
We're never going to agree on this. What a great way to start Black History Month. With the party that freed the slaves, the Republican Party. This is our first midterm election poll.
You talk about Black History Month, and when your president, MAGA, doesn't give a damn about Black History Month, are you talking about it? Really? If y'all can, y'all demolish Black history. You don't talk about Black history.
Yeah,
please.
tell me about Black
Please.
history. Give me something we should be talking about with Black history.
The Tuskegee Airmen.
What about them?
How they saved so many bombers' lives in Germany.
No, that's a vague thing.
How?
Tell me what you know. Like if you were teaching a class about the Tuskegee Airmen, tell me something that everybody doesn't know about the Tuskegee Airmen.
I would tell you, I got so much. I don't even want to discuss that with
Well,
you
pick
because
pick
all you
pick
trying
the
to do is
most
catch me.
pick
You tell me
pick
what
the
you
most
know.
obscure.
Tell me what you know.
Oh,
Tell me,
I've met
like,
Tuskegee Airmen. I know a lot about them, but you don't. I know
can
more about
tell
them
me
than
what
you.
You know.
No.
Yeah, I know-
You're the
I
one.
know more-
You're the
now-
one. You're the one
now-
who said that the Tuskegee Airmen are important historical figures, and I agree with that. Tell me something about them that everyone should know that's not common knowledge.
I just told you. You tell me something.
Well, so you can't think of anything. Well, okay, but I'm gonna.
No, I just told you.
One of the most interesting things about, and I'll tell you a couple things about the Tuskegee Airmen because I've met them.
Okay.
I've met a couple of Tuskegee Airmen. In fact, I remember there was a World War II bomber in Boca that flew in. This was when my daughter was a little girl, and I took her to see it because the Tuskegee Airmen were going to be there, and I wanted her to meet a Tuskegee Airman, which she did. And but anyway, there was a guy who was a gunner on a World War II bomber who said, "I wouldn't be here talking to you if it wasn't for this man." And he put his arm around the Tuskegee Airmen. They didn't, because they were so good. But the Tuskegee Airmen, other than being black men, when they first went to flight school for the Army Air Force, they all had something in common, other than being black men. Do you know what that was? What would you imagine that is? Other than being black men, what is something they all had in common?
Because I went to college.
They all went to college. That is correct. College graduates. So if this country is as everything that you on the left think it was, how did a bunch of black men in the 1930s, because that's when they would have gone to college, right? How did they get college education? There was no affirmative action back then.
Because they went through hell because they fought to get it.
No. How did
they went through hell
in a country prior to affirmative action? How did so many young black men in the 1930s get into college?
They went to black colleges, SVUs. They went to black colleges.
Well, what does that tell you, though, that so many men could get a college education without affirmative action?
Brian, again, that hell. You know how many got called the N-word? How many of them got beat up? You don't know.
So what? I get called names all the time by people like you. So what? They were called names. And they certainly weren't called the N-word at the black colleges.
So you saying, Brian? So you saying call us by the
No,
N-word?
what I'm telling you is that these Tuskegee. What I'm saying to you is that the Tuskegee Airmen, they got into college, made it through college, graduated college, many with advanced degrees because pilots are have aeronautical engineering backgrounds and such. In a day before affirmative action and DEI and all of that. And they were the best of the best.
Because they fought
all of your liberal all of your liberal programs get people into college that don't have the smarts to do it. All right, Doc, take care. Appreciate the call. We'll take our bottom of the hour break. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is toll free 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Doc learned something, huh? Yeah. How'd a bunch of guys like that get into college without any DEI, without any affirmative action? We'll be right back.
Turn everyday spaces into something special with Velaqua. Explore modern furniture, smart home solutions, travel-ready gear, and lifestyle upgrades designed to make life smoother and more stylish. From cozy interiors to tech-savvy essentials, Velaqua brings comfort, design, and practicality together effortlessly. Head to Velaqua.com. That's VELIQUA.com and discover pieces that work beautifully in real life. Velaqua, where modern living comes together. Refined style meets smart living at Imperail. Discover fashion essentials, polished accessories, practical car upgrades, and insightful digital reads curated for modern routines. Every item at Imperail balances style, functionality, and everyday confidence. Perfect for workdays, weekends, and everything in between. Find your next standout piece at Imperail.com. Written IMPERALE.com. And upgrade daily living with thoughtful, well-chosen essentials. Imperail. Confidence, convenience, and modern taste. Step into a smarter way to shop with Lutein. Fashion staples, modern furniture, clever home upgrades, and digital guides designed to simplify everyday life all come together in one inspired destination. From stylish apparel and statement lighting to productivity tools and space-saving solutions, Lutein keeps life organized, elevated, and effortless. Visit lutein.com, spelled Lutene.com, and discover finds that blend comfort, creativity, and modern living. Lutein, designed for life, chosen with purpose.
All right, we're less than a minute from being back from the radio break. We're still in radio break. Look at that. Now, I'm going to keep that up because, got to show them 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, Melania. It doesn't get better than that, right? If you're on hold, stand by. We'll go to the phones when we get back. The number is toll-free, and it's pinned in the live chat. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. How exciting. It doesn't get better than this. What a great way to start off the week. 15 seconds, we'll be back. You see, the way that you got into college in the 1930s, talking about the Tuskegee Airmen with Doc, is you actually had to earn your way in, right? And not only did you have to earn your way in, when you went and sought employment elsewhere after college, whether it was the U.S. Army Air Forces or anywhere else, you had to earn your way in. And those Tuskegee Airmen were great, great men. And I don't know how many are left. I've met at least two. And I was pretty excited to meet them both. But, everyone retires to Florida, even Tuskegee Airmen. And as opposed to today, where everyone gets into college, even if they can't do math, and they have to take remedial math and English their first 2 or 3 or 4 years in college. All right, we're talking about Melania, great documentary film. This not only is this the greatest movie ever made, it is Oscar-winning quality filmmaking. Let's go to the phones, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. Ray of Sunrise.
Hey, Ray. How you doing?
Hey, a very classy movie, a very classy documentary about our very classy First Lady. This absolutely, as you pointed out, a must-see. I went the first day. I went early in the morning, and this, as you said, is historic. And what I liked about it is that you felt like you were getting a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Big time. It was like a behind the scenes that you were let in on a secret. It was so personal, and it felt so close. I went to a theater that was kind of small, like, one of these, I don't know if you know the Regal Theater on Broward.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, anyway.
Yep.
But it's small, and it was so intimate, and you really felt like you were there.
Yeah.
The movie was so well done. Like, you felt like you were in the room when she was showing you something, or they were showing. But, also, there were a lot of shots of Mar-a-Lago or the White House, Air Force One, all those things. I mean, that movie is going to definitely go down as one of the most must-sees.
When I say this movie is a historical document, we have never seen a first lady, a first family this intimately. We've never seen this look before.
Yes, it really showed her love and gratitude for America.
Yes.
And her parents coming over, that she's a real immigrant. She went through the process. The whole bit that, and you got that feeling that this was a genuine person. This wasn't staged. This wasn't like put on. She's so personable, so loving. I mean, this is absolutely like this is a great.
And she's brilliant. I was surprised how down to earth and normal she is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We always say Donald Trump, greatest president ever. Well, this is the first lady.
There was one, her initiative about internet safety for kids. She was talking to Macron's wife on Zoom or something, on a video call. And Melania speaks 5 languages, and Macron's wife she's getting her advice on what things worked well with her program in France. Macron's wife is speaking to Melania in French, and Melania is making notes in English. In real time. It really, I mean, she's. I don't think we've had a first lady that spoke 5 languages like this.
No, nothing like this. Nothing like this. I have one personal disappointment.
Okay.
You're gonna laugh at this. I heard yesterday somewhere on the TV or someplace, if you went and got the popcorn, they have a cup or something that has a special Melania cup. Did you know that?
No, I skipped the snack bar.
Well, I'm going to find a way to get back to that theater, even if I have to pay for another ticket. I'm going to get one of those cups. It's got to be a collector's
Well, you know
item.
what happened is I didn't go. The reason I didn't go to the snack bar is because if I would have gotten a Coke, and I didn't want to have to leave to go to the men's room. So I didn't. So I didn't get anything to drink because I didn't want to miss any of the movie.
Well, I went early in the morning, but I don't eat popcorn anyway.
Oh, I love popcorn. I went at 9:50 a.m.
I'm going to get that cup to add to my Trump collection.
Absolutely.
I have I also have a Melania collection now too, because of her signature on something.
Oh, really?
I have original Donald Trump signatures, originals on golf scorecards.
Yes.
When I used to play in his celebrity golf tournament.
Well, the thing about this movie, Melania, Ray, there's no way that even the biggest, if Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres went and saw this movie, they would be very angry because they would end up liking Melania and seeing how much she loves President Trump. This couple's really in love. They've been together since the 90s. A lot of people don't know that, and they're like honeymooners. You can tell.
Yeah, well, I've seen those documentaries too about how they met and the exchange of the phone numbers and how she went about it and so on.
All right, Ray. Well, it's good to hear from you.
All right, very good.
You see
good show.
All right, appreciate the call, Ray. You see the difference between someone who's seen the movie, like Ray, and Doc, who hasn't seen the movie, but he has nothing good to say about it. And those of you that are Democrats, anti-ICE, never Trumpers, whatever you identify as, you really should go and see the movie and see what she's really like. She narrates it herself, and she's also done, I think she's done a lot for Michael Jackson record sales, because she's in the car in New York, and I guess it's Brett Ratner did the filming, right? The movie maker. He asks her who her favorite musician is, and she says Michael Jackson, and she said her favorite, and then he said, well, what's your favorite Michael Jackson song? And she said Billie Jean, and then she started singing to Billie Jean in the car, and I was surprised she knew the words, and she was singing Billie Jean in the car, and so a lot of people will be downloading Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, I imagine, today. But there's, she narrates the movie herself, and there's a couple of things that she says in the movie that are great. She's in line, she's getting ready to walk out to the podium for the inauguration. They're doing the introductions, and they introduce her, and she looks over to the camera and she says, "Here we go again," which I thought was pretty funny. But one of the most impactful parts of the movie to me was she's talking about the president, and she says they try to kill him and they try to incarcerate him, and it's pretty powerful to hear that from Melania. And Melania knows more about the lawfare and the assassinations than you and I will ever know because she's on the inside, right? And when Melania says they tried to kill him and they tried to incarcerate him, to me, that is a confirmation from the First Lady that the same people behind Letitia James and Bragg and Fannie and all those lunatics were behind the assassination attempts in Butler and at the golf course, is what it tells me. You know, and that's a confirmation from the First Lady, and it's the first time I've gotten that level of confirmation. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi. Good morning, Brian. This is Danielle calling from Michigan.
Hey, Danielle.
Happy Monday. Just
Yes.
a couple comments. I hope Texas is still listening. I saw the movie yesterday morning. This was absolutely a must-see for everyone. It was fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to say to Texas, do you by chance know what Melania's favorite song or favorite artist is?
Oh, I was just saying that as you were calling. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Texas likes, he likes to throw out the R word all the time. He uses it like it's confetti. But I didn't hear if you said that it was Michael Jackson
And Billie Jean.
Billie Jean,
yeah. And not only did she say it, she starts singing Billie Jean right after that in the car. She knew the words.
She was singing it. That movie was fabulous, Brian. I mean, it brought me to tears at many different times.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to actually try to go see it again. Just so you know, Texas, this movie is sold out in my area.
Is it?
This movie is, and you know what, Brian? This is a MAGA country, Texas. We are MAGA. And
well, this movie didn't break the box office. Melania didn't break the 10-year documentary box office in Texas or Florida. It did nationwide. And I don't know what the last one was,
Correct.
but it probably was a Michael Moore thing or something. I don't know. So that tells us that even during a snowstorm blizzard weekend, people were going out of their way to see this movie.
Exactly. And you know what, Brian? Instead of if you get any more callers, instead of these people calling in and criticizing, Texas, why don't you just take an hour and 48 minutes out of your day? Try to go see the movie. You might enjoy it. I thought it was fabulous, Brian. I mean, it was what brought me to tears, like when she was talking about her mother.
Oh, yeah.
And then when she had the woman in that her husband was hostage in Gaza, and 12 days after Trump took office, her husband was freed alive. I mean, it was a good movie. I loved it.
Yeah. And, obviously, you and I were going to like the movie. We're MAGA people. I knew I would like the movie, but right as immediately when it started, I'm like, this is not a normal documentary. This is the most well-done documentary film I've ever seen. The last time I saw a documentary, and I've seen documentaries in the theater before, the last time I saw a documentary in the theater that I'm like, wow, this is a special movie, was Hoop Dreams, which was in the early to mid-'90s. Hoop Dreams, if anybody remembers Hoop Dreams. There is no doubt that this movie is deserving of an Academy Award for Best Documentary Film. No doubt.
I really agree. And instead of people calling and want to criticizing, why don't you go on out and spend the money and see it for yourself? You might find some things interesting. You might find it enjoyable. It's just
well, that's what they're afraid of. That's what they're afraid of. If they see the movie, they're gonna say, "Oh, I like her. I like President Trump. I like Melania. They're nice people." That's why they don't want it. That's why the liberals don't want to see it.
Exactly. They'll just call in all day and they'll complain to you. But you know what? I thought it was a beautiful movie, and I'm going to try to go see it again if I can. I'm looking for shows, and it really is sold out. It's not in Michigan too long where I'm at. But I just wanted to let you know, and I saw your recording after you got out of the theater.
Oh.
That was great.
Yeah.
I just don't know how Texas can be so angry on a Monday morning.
Because the Democrat world is collapsing. All right, hey, I appreciate the call. Listen, I got to tell you, these cold snaps we're having. It was 32 degrees this morning when I woke up, wind chill in the 20s, right? We've had record cold today and yesterday. Oh man, it's awful, right? But I remember when we would have these cold snaps like we're in right now is when my pains would really, really be hurting, man. My knee pain, my arthritis, my shoulder pain. But I don't have any aches and pains during this cold weather because Dr. Appleton rid me of pain with his robotic laser away pain treatment. Dr. Appleton's robotic laser away pain treatment, it doesn't just mask the pain like medications do, or people that go in and get these shots every couple of months. What the heck's that all about? What the laser away pain treatment does with Dr. Appleton is actually repair the damage that's causing you the pain. And it works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. I'm going to go through this list that is it's an incomplete list, but it's some of the more common pains. Acute and chronic pain, herniated disc, rotary tears, plantar fasciitis, fibromyalgia, sciatica, spinal stenosis, tinnitus, knee pains, neck pains, back pains, neck and back injuries, post-surgical swelling and pains. If you have a surgery scheduled because you got some pain in a joint, go see Dr. Appleton and see what the laser away pain treatment can do before you have that surgery. TMJ, arthritis, bursitis, and many, many more. Give Dr. Appleton a call. Say bye-bye to your pain. And remember, with the laser away pain treatment, there's no injections, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. And of course, the best part is it works. Stop living in pain. You don't have to. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are always welcome with Dr. Appleton, even on Saturdays. If you have x-rays or scans, bring them with you. Dr. Appleton will take a look at them, and it's always a no-charge consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
Planning a ski trip with your kids? Buying ski clothes they'll outgrow after one season can be expensive and stressful. That's why families are choosing Skits Ski Wear Rentals. Kids ski gear shipped to your door. Skits offers complete ski clothing kits designed just for kids ages 3 to 14. You rent instead of buy, and everything arrives at your home before your trip. Clean, warm, and ready to wear. Choose the Skits Boys Kit or Skits Girls Kit, including a waterproof jacket, insulated snow pants, bib, gloves, goggles, and cold weather accessories, all with free shipping. After the trip, just send it back. There's no storage, no shopping, and no wasted money. Make your family ski trip easier this year. Rent before you go. Visit skits.co. That's SKITZ. Skits Ski Wear Rentals. Kids ski gear shipped to your door. Skip the stress and gear up for less. Skits.co.
All right, we have a minute till we're back on the radio. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, and it is posted in the chat, right? It's pinned in the chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. The people that don't like the movie are the ones that haven't seen it, huh? Isn't that something? All right, 15 seconds. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on this freezing cold morning in Florida. Oh my goodness, this weather. I could not handle living in Ohio anymore. I've been in Florida almost my whole life. And man, Mike the board op had ice on his windshield this morning. He even sent me a picture. We don't have anything to get ice off of windshields in Florida. I don't know. What do you guys do? I don't know. Would the garden hose work? But it was too cold. Oh my goodness. Snowing in Florida in places it doesn't normally snow. I mean, it was just, it's crazy. But just to finish up with Melania, so it seems that the people that, based on what we're hearing here on the phones today, the people that didn't like the movie are the ones that didn't see it, and the people that saw it love it. And that 99% Rotten Tomatoes score among people that have seen the movie is pretty amazing. But I'll tell you another thing. This very well may have opened a box office boom in the future by the Trump. This may be a sector of the economy saved by the president, and that's movie theaters. I have always been a movie fan my entire life. The last time I saw a movie in the theater before this was 2019. That's when the last Star Wars movie came out. And I just didn't see anything that was worthwhile over the years to get me back in the theaters, so I thought, until this came out. And when I saw some of the trailers, I got there mid-trailer, so I didn't see all the trailers. And I said to my wife, I said, maybe we should start going to the movies more often, right? Maybe we should start going to the movies more often. And I'm not saying I'm going to go to the movies every week like I used to, but I used to go and see at least a movie a week up until 2019, and sometimes more than one over the weekend. Sometimes I'd go and see double features. And, with the shutdowns and everything and lockdowns, a lot of us got out of the habit of going to the movies. But the Trump family may be getting us back into that habit after this, because I'm thinking, well, hey, we all have such nice televisions now, right? They're big. The pictures quality is incredible. And, everybody's got at least a sound bar with great sound. And you're like, well, what's the point? Why don't I just wait for it to come on a streaming app? But, it's going to the movies is a great American pastime. And I'll tell you, when I saw the movie yesterday, I saw it at the first showing on Sunday morning at 9:50 in the morning. That's pretty darn early for the movies, but I've always been an early morning guy my whole life. So I like the early movies, and I thought I was going to have a private screening, and there were people in the theater. I was surprised. And when I came out, there were people in the theater. But what I noticed, when I went and saw Melania yesterday, I was wearing my Make America Great Again hat. It was freezing cold, coldest day we've had in 15 years in Florida. I was wearing a Trump hoodie, and I was treated with nothing but kindness and respect from the people that worked at the movies theater. I bought my ticket in advance, but I had to swipe it in, and the people in the movie saw me before and after. They were all nice to me, even though I'm totally decked out in MAGA gear, which was nice. And the sense that I had from the people that worked at and I saw this, by the way, at the Cinemark in Boca on Airport Road. Melania, though, is playing at every theater around. And I really I usually, when I was going to the movies, I stopped going to Cinemark, and I started going to the Silver Spot in Coconut Creek. And I was going to see it there because it's a newer theater. The Cinemark used to be Movieco. It's an older theater. But the Cinemark's newer, so I'd usually go to the the Silver Spot in Coconut Creek. But yesterday, it wasn't starting till like 12:10. And then I saw Cinemark, 9:50 a.m., that's perfect for me. So I went there, and the theater looked great. It was in great condition. It looked new as like when it first opened as Movieco. And the reclining seats, they have the motorized reclining seats. Those were nice. I love that. With the tray table, and it wasn't even like the special seats. It was just like a regular movie seat, and it had the tray table to come in front of me like I was on an airplane. I loved it. It was really nice, and the people in the theater were so nice, and I could tell that the people that worked in the theater were excited that people are coming to the movies that don't normally go to the movies. You understand what I mean? They knew when I came in, and by the way, other people were wearing MAGA hats that were in the movie theater with me. And when I left, people were there coming for the next showing, and I saw MAGA hats when I was leaving. And the people that work in the movie theater know that we're not regular moviegoers anymore, like most of the country. You know, the movie theaters are closing down. You know, you can hardly find one anymore in some areas. You know, and I think they were excited that people are going to the movies again. You know, and going to the movies used to be an experience that you would have with your friends when you're younger, with your families when you're older. You know, I used to love when my daughter was young going to the movies with my daughter, and to get people back in movie theaters. You know, it's hard because Hollywood hates us. I saw some of the highlights from the Grammys. You know, the thing about the Grammys, all these people at the Grammys last night that are shouting all these anti-ICE things. You know, music, when you look back at music and musicians as protesters, you kind of think of like the 60s, the early 70s with the Vietnam War era. And they were always fighting the establishment, right? Truth to power, fighting the establishment. And what's happened with these so-called liberal activists, and you see these with these musicians at the Grammys last night, you know, they're with the establishment, you know, saying all these terrible things about ICE. I'm not playing any sound bites on the program from the Grammys. I could, but I'm not. And they don't want, they don't even realize it. But what they're saying are the popular, that they're saying what the establishment want. President Trump is the rebel. Remember what Vivek Ramaswamy said? You want to be a hippie? You want to be a rebel? Vote Trump. Vote MAGA, right? And these idiot leftists have no idea that they are supporting the establishment. What are they? Their music's not rebelling against anything. And you saw this in the Grammys. They're fighting for the establishment to regain control, regain power. But I'll tell you this, all those Grammy winners that went up there and said this and that about ICE and Trump and that idiot Trevor Noah that was hosting, I bet you this, I bet you each one of those multimillionaires takes all of the Trump tax cuts from the big, beautiful bill. I bet you that. Do you think any of them up there that were saying blank ICE and Trevor Noah who said terrible things, do you think they do not take the Trump tax cuts in the big, beautiful bill? I promise you, they take them all. All these millionaires going up there trying to act like they're poor and fighting Trump. Of course they take all the Trump tax cuts that they wouldn't have if it wasn't for Trump, right? That's right. Believe me. And they don't want you to know that. I mean, as they do interviews, some of them I'm sure will do some interviews today, celebrate, and they'll talk about this. That'd be it wouldn't be my first question, because you know you got to soften them up a little bit. But if I was interviewing any of those blank ICE people from the Grammys today, that would be the question to destroy them about the Trump tax cuts from the big, beautiful bill. I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas, who's going to be joining us on the program a little later today. You know, Joe Thomas and annuities. Annuities are amazing. No matter what happens with the economy, we could have a Great Depression tomorrow. Your nest egg is safe, right? You're not going to lose any money. Plus, you're still guaranteed that income stream each and every month for the rest of your life. You know, what's happening with people is people are living much longer than they used to. People are retiring and finding out that they're living 30, 35, even 40 years after retirement. And sometimes people that have really good retirements, when they retire, it's 25 years, it's 30 years or more later, and it's not as much as it was 30 years ago, right? And that extra income that they get each and every month for the rest of their life from annuities, well, that changes everything, and they get their lifestyle back, or they're able to maintain their lifestyle. And you don't want to worry about money and pinch pennies when you're retired. Call Joe Thomas and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. Back after this. All right, stand by, guys.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom Laporta, Laporta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse, weather, traffic, whatever? Tom Laporta, what a class act, the workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
Wow, did you guys hear that? Free shipping from My Pillow. I just caught that at the end. That's a new commercial that Mike Lindell sent me this morning. That is great. Oh my goodness, free shipping with our promo code Kane. Let me pull that up. That's crazy. They don't offer that very often. Yeah, that's what he just said. Absolutely free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. All right, what time are we coming? If you're on hold, stand by. We have about 90 seconds until we are back. Hold on, guys. Stand by. Oh boy, President Trump, he's not happy. CBS is in trouble. Okay. We have about 40 seconds until we're back. Stand by. The 7 o'clock hour has begun. Callers on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. So the Grammys last night, they had this new Epstein Files release, right, over the weekend. And yet again, the president cleared, as always, with every release. But this low-talent host Trevor Noah, who isn't he from South Africa? He said some things hosting the Grammys, and the president's not happy, and he took to Truth Social. Listen to this. This is the president. The Grammy Awards are the worst, virtually unwatchable. CBS is lucky not to have this garbage litter their airwaves any longer. The host, is it leaving CBS? The host, Trevor Noah, whoever he may be, is almost as bad as Jimmy Kimmel at the Low Ratings Academy Awards. Noah said incorrectly about me that Donald Trump and Bill Clinton spent time on Epstein Island. Wrong. I can't speak for Bill, but I have never been to Epstein Island, nor anywhere close, and until tonight's false and defamatory statement, have never been accused of being there, not even by the fake news media. Noah, a total loser, better get his facts straight. Oh, boy. And get them straight fast. It looks like I'll be sending my lawyers to sue this poor, pathetic, talentless, what is this, DOP of an MC? Dope? I guess that's dope. Dope of an MC. And suing him for plenty. And then he has a $sign after plenty. Ask little George Slopadopoulos and others how that all worked out. Also ask CBS. Get ready, Noah. I'm going to have some fun with you. President DJT. Wow, that's oh boy. You think Trevor Noah's worried? Him and Don Lemon better watch out. All right, to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning to you, and hope you stay warm up in South Florida.
Oh my goodness, it's freezing.
I haven't seen Melania because I have an app on my big TV that has all the movies, and
that are in the theater.
As soon as it's called Cinema.
Okay.
It's actually. And I get the current movies. I get them all. I mean, not for nothing. I'll get Melania probably within the next couple of days. And here's the deal. She's to me, she's the most beautiful, gracious. I mean, to represent this country as a first lady since Jacqueline Kennedy, and there hasn't been one since then. And including Michelle Obama. Now I respect the position and everything like that, but what they did with Michelle Obama, they created Michelle Obama. They gave her all. She was wearing all designer Marc Jacobs dresses and everything. They made her. Then she came out with that statement with this is the first time I liked America. Mm-hmm. I mean the United States. I mean I said to myself, oh no. But Jacqueline Kennedy represented this country as a first lady, and so does Melania, and you can't beat her grace, her beauty, her style. Everything about her is class.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. Now, the reason, but I don't think the movie industry is going to come back. I can argue with you there. I have all these apps, all the apps for all these movies, current and everything. I can't sit and watch any of this crap.
Well, part of the problem they have is their wokeism. That they've just, we've all accepted that Hollywood's a bunch of liberals, but what they've done in the last few years is just unforgivable. I mean, the way they talk to us and about us, some of them even come out and say, don't go see my movie if you're MAGA. I mean, so people took that advice. I mean, they've alienated their customer base.
Yeah, it's just like the 11 o'clock, the 11:30 shows on all these major networks. Nobody watches them anymore because they basically call them terrible things. I mean, and the shows are every night is to knock our president, which is disgusting already. So, but there's also the prices of the movie theaters. I'm going to just give you an example. My friend paid for the last time I went for a senior citizen thing here, and it was $6. And I said, oh my God, the last time I went to a senior thing was like about $2.
It was just I went to the 9:50 a.m. So I guess it's a little late. It's a little cheaper. It was just under $12 for my ticket.
Yeah, see, all right. Now here's the deal, Brian. I went to a movie in Hollywood. The last one I went to, and I'm going to tell you something. It was like $9, and I was in a fit with my wife. I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. $9 for a movie? So I said something to somebody that works there. And you know what they told me? All the money goes to these directors and actors and producers, and that really turned me off when I heard that. They said the only thing we get here is from the concession stand. That puts the lights on.
That's the way it is, you know. And I skipped the concession stand for this movie. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. What President Trump and Melania have done with this movie is a lot of things, but they've gotten people back in the movie theaters like me. I've not been to a movie theater in 7 years, and I've been back. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to go back this weekend, but if something comes out that I'm interested in, I might go out and see it at the theater and not wait for the cable. But the thing about though, just to get it back on track is with the movie, is that if Rosie O'Donnell went to see this movie, she'd come out liking Melania, and that's what freaks them out so much. And this movie, when it's done in the theaters, is going to be streaming on Amazon. Amazon produced the movie, so they've got the streaming rights. And when it goes to Amazon, millions upon millions are going to see this movie, and and by the time they see it, we're going to be in midterm election season, right? Which we're kind of at the beginning of now, and you can see. Not just how much people are going to like Melania. When you get to see Melania and the president together, they're going to. You can't. There's no way you can't like him either. When you're watching, I don't care who the biggest Trump hater is, will walk away liking the Trumps when they see this movie.
I agree. You saw it, and I can't comment on it because I haven't seen it. I'm going to probably love it. I'll watch it here. But here's the thing I'm going to say to you, okay? We have definitely, you said you're going to go back to the movie theaters and Hollywood has turned us off. Brian, the biggest, Steve Kane quote, creep, that's going to be singing in Spanish and taking over the halftime of the biggest
Bad
spectacle
Bunny?
this coming Sunday is Bad Bunny. And he just put out a song, Anti-Ice.
Yeah.
And that's like their national anthem for all these protesters. I mean, it's not for nothing.
Well,
this is disgusting.
You know, that's what I was talking about with the Grammys. Okay, they're all hypocrites. Music, you know, is in such trouble now, in so many ways because they're alienating. There's so many young people that are MAGA, and I remember when I'm not into music these days, but when I was younger and I watched the Grammys and the People's Choice Awards, and I knew who everybody was and everything else. The young people are so MAGA in this country today, beyond any level that young people have been conservative ever. And when they go up there and say blank ice, they're telling these young people that are buying their songs or listening to, putting them on their Spotify playlist, that they don't want them listening to them, and it's very self-destructive.
Katy Perry, another one, American Idol. I mean, come on already. These people hate us. I don't because we voted for President Trump, because we believe in our country. We love our country. We love each other. What I mean, we don't believe in this crazy.
I mean, look at what this Bad Bunny thing has done for the Super Bowl.
Oh.
You know, millions of people. We'll find out after, but the president said he's not going to watch it.
No, he usually goes.
He goes. He's not going to go, and he's not going to watch it either. So how many people? You know, if you can to get people to turn off football, especially the Super Bowl, is something you would have thought was impossible to do, and that very well may happen by the millions this Super Bowl.
Well, the Super Bowl, not for nothing, the NFL is the wokest league, and it's all woke. If you ever go into it, you see the end zones during the game on television, you're going to see stop racism, stop hate, all this.
Yeah.
All woke.
Sure.
I mean, the
NFL, when they started that taking the knee crap, they alienated so many people, and they survived it, and they came back, and now here they are doing it again.
They're doing it again. They're right in our face.
Mm-hmm.
It's really sad. What can we do? We can't do nothing but boycott it. That's it. You know.
I'm not into the. I appreciate the call, Richie. I'm not into the Super Bowl like a lot of people are. So for me, it's easy for me to skip. But if you can get people not to watch football, that's saying something. Now, I want to talk about the Sloman's Home Security offer of a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. Give them a call, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. It's a free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. Your Sloman's home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access so you can check in anytime from anywhere. Give them a call right now, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. We'll be right back.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom Laporta, Laporta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse? Weather, traffic, whatever. Tom Laporta, what a class act. The workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. Do mealtimes feel more stressful than satisfying in your home? You're not alone. Between busy schedules, picky eaters, and rising grocery costs, eating healthy can't feel impossible. That's why Dennis Heikkinen wrote the family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook, available on Amazon. This practical, easy-to-use cookbook is packed with over 100 simple, nutritious, kid-approved recipes designed for real families and real life. Every meal is easy to prepare, budget-friendly, and made to help your whole family enjoy breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even snacks without spending hours in the kitchen. Whether you're a busy parent, a beginner cook, or just trying to build healthier habits at home, the family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook gives you the confidence to cook with ease and bring joy back to your life. Order your copy right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. The family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook on Amazon.
All right, we're still in radio station break. We'll be back in less than a minute, guys. So stand by, and I'll go back to the phones. I got more to cover, too. I'll move into in a few minutes. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go back to the phones when we get back. Welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Scott.
Hey, Scott.
And I'm calling from Kansas City.
Scott in Kansas City. What's on your mind?
Well, let me just share these things. When Kansas City had its great time in football, I didn't watch because I can't stand this. They're taking the knee. I'm not watching. And people said, but the team, they're in the Super Bowl. And I said, my principles are my principles, and I will not watch.
Yeah.
And I am something of a fan of football. I played 1 year in high school. I don't really like playing the game,
Yeah.
but they drug me into it because of my size. And then I want to take it to the Grammys. I also play music. I used to love watching the Grammys, and then I just, for whatever reason, in the 1990s, I quit watching.
Well, what happens with music is we grow up, right? I mean, if most of us were into the music we were into in high school. So for most people, whatever is Grammy nominated worthy you're not into that music. That's true with every generation, right? So that's a normal fall off. It's not the same as football.
But the last time I watched was in 2016 when I heard on the radio that the Eagles were getting together to do a tribute to their fallen bandmate, Glenn Frey.
Yeah.
So I watched the Grammys after years, and when I looked at the crowd and who they were and what they were celebrating, it was mostly very posh club dance music, and the crowd looked like the attendees and the main citadel in the Hunger Games.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean, but with the Bad Bunny thing at the Super Bowl, if Bad Bunny walked into this room right now, I wouldn't know who they were. If you put on a Bad Bunny song, I wouldn't recognize it. I'm just not into Bad Bunny, and a lot of times they have people that do the Super Bowl halftime. If I'm watching the Super Bowl, I'm not interested in. Like I'll tell you, even though this is my generation's music, I can't stand Tom Petty. And I remember they had Tom Petty at the Super Bowl one year. I'm like, are you kidding me? So this happens. They had Michael Jackson. I was a Michael Jackson fan, but he came out and did some songs I'm not interested in. I'm out of the room. But this ICE situation it's a bad move for them because obviously the majority of the country are behind ICE. That's why we only have protest in isolated pockets. And to come out and tell you come out and tell 3/4 of the nation to go to where they tell them to go with that, it's a stupid decision. You don't mind controversy. Like the Janet Jackson thing, please, give me a break. When Janet Jackson, did that, she was young, hot, and everybody and top act. Everybody was interested in seeing that, contrary to what they tell you. This Bad Bunny thing is too much of an alienation of their core audience, and it's a real big mistake. And I would imagine that at Super Bowl parties and at sports bars nationwide, they're going to mute it when the halftime comes on, just because the people that are there watching it aren't going to want to make a protest.
And I saw some where Kansas City's halftime was, I think, their first Super Bowl in recent times, and that was the weirdest looking junk I ever saw.
All right, well, I don't want to go through the history of Super Bowl halftime, but I appreciate the call. Take care, all right? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
The first thing I'd like to say is I'm wondering how many people in the country, especially in Florida, are saying, I think I might have been lied to. There's no global warming, man. This is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I mean, how dumb can you be to say, oh, yeah, global warming, Iceland's going to turn into a tropic.
I was telling my wife yesterday afternoon, I said, man, I wish we had an electric blanket. I miss those when I lived up north. We had electric blankets, Yeah,
I had one in New York. Yeah, man, this is ridiculous. Anyway, I'm embarrassed as a musician for these big mouth people in the Grammys, man. First of all, it doesn't make any logical sense to talk politics when you're a musician, when you're trying to sell records and concerts, when half the country, at least, and more than half the country.
Music and entertainment have, there's a history of rebellion, but what they don't understand is they're not rebelling. They're taking the position of the establishment, which is the anti-Trump position. The establishment mainstream position is what they're taking. That quote from Vivek Ramaswamy is the best when he was running, when he was out campaigning for Trump. If you want to be a rebel, if you want to be a hippie, join MAGA, right?
Join MAGA, that's for sure.
That's right. That's me. If you want to be establishment, you're out there saying blank ice.
That is really. I mean.
All right, hey Doug, I appreciate the call. Yeah, isn't that true that they're fighting with the establishment now? Absolutely. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Bob in Jupiter. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, Bob. I'm doing all right for this cold morning.
Yeah, I'm freezing my butt off as a good MAGA. I'm going to work to help support all those idiots that don't work.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Anyway, Billie Eilish. I think that's how you say her name. I'm not really big in this music crap.
Yep.
But no one's illegal on stolen land is her exact quote. So I would like to know, can I go to her house today and just walk around her front yard and perhaps go into her house? I mean, the idiocy and the hypocrisy of these people knows no ends. And, you know, they have to say it because it's the badge of courage. You have to toe the party line so people will accept you.
Well, why is it only America on stolen land? Why isn't it Canada or Mexico, which was settled by the Spaniards and, you know, from Europe as well? Why is it only the United States that's on stolen land?
Oh, because if we can get rid of the United States and we can break the United States down, we're going to have a one world government, one world order, and things will be great. You're not going to own anything. It'll be eating bugs, but we'll be happy, according to that idiot Schwab.
And you know, the other thing, you mentioned Billie Eilish, like the rest of them. Do you think Billie Eilish, you think that they take those Trump tax cuts from the big, beautiful bill on the millions from their record sales?
Oh no, I'm sure she doesn't do that. Which real quick to jump to something else. It's hilarious. All these million and we want to pay more taxes. Well, go ahead and pay more taxes.
Yeah.
On my form it says, do you want to donate money? Donate all you want. Just don't take my money. I work my butt off, and unfortunately, I'm stuck in the middle where the poor people get everything for free. The rich people have enough money to pay for everything. Doesn't hurt them.
You know this thing about the Grammys. I haven't watched the Grammys in a long time, but this was about 20 years ago. Okay, 15 years ago. I'm watching the Grammys, and Santana had a surprise hit. I can't remember what it was, but Santana had a comeback about 15, 20 years ago. If any of you guys remember this, Carlos Santana, everyone loves Santana, and he won a Grammy. And he comes out, Santana, it's like, you know, and he says, this is for all the kids in the barrios and all this. He was talking like with all the illegals and all that stuff, you know, for all the kids, you know. And then I saw him, he goes backstage and does an interview with Entertainment Tonight. And they say, now that you won the Grammy, what are you going to do, Carlos Santana? Now, this was right after he said, this is for all those kids in the barrios, all the slums of America. He says, I'm going to rent, he already had it set up. He said, I've chartered a private 747. I'm loading it up with my friends, and we're going to party flying around the world. And I think, well, wait a minute. I thought you were down with the poor people. Now you're chartering a 747 and flying worldwide, having a private champagne party, Carlos. They're all liars and hypocrites and millionaires all.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And the funny part also, just one thing about this 5-year-old kid that was detained, right?
Yes.
I wish that somebody would show I'm from Miami. I wish somebody would show the picture of Elian Gonzalez with a stormtrooper, an automatic weapon pointed at his head, hiding in a closet that Bill Clinton ripped from his family's house, from his mother's arms to send back to his father in Cuba. Nobody's, where's the outrage there? And then what about Obama? Well, we got to deport all these people because the law is a law. They're just so stupid. They're trying to kill America.
Yeah.
So anyway, Brian, you have a great
day. All right,
day.
Take care. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll come back to the phones, and I am going to get into the 5-year-old and his father story after the break. I want to talk about Life Imaging FLA. You know, Life Imaging FLA, they have locations, by the way, in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County. And just hearing from people in this listening audience who have taken my advice and gone over there for the heart scan or the cancer screening and find out they've had blockage, they've had a heart condition they didn't know about because they were not symptomatic at all. Or in the one gentleman who called me a couple weeks ago, found out he had a tumor. He had no idea. And Life Imaging FLA, they're about preventative health. They're finding things that people don't know they have and don't even have symptoms. It's amazing. Give them a call, and that visit very well may save your life. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan right now with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan and you'll be connected in seconds. Back after this.
Valentine's Day is almost here, and it's time to make hearts flutter. Imagine surprising someone with a gift that sparks joy, brings smiles, and feels like a hug wrapped in elegance. At Ultimus.site, ULTIMUS.site, every click uncovers treasures that delight, charm, and show your love in the sweetest way. Enter a special promo, Love More 10, for a Valentine's discount, good through February 14th. Ultimus, love gets a little playful, a lot magical, and completely unforgettable. Valentine's Day is coming, and if your girl is cooler than you, which let's be honest, she probably is, you already know the situation. She thrifts, she has a point of view, and she can tell the difference between real vintage and that crusty gym shirt you've been hanging on to since 2012. Stop wandering the mall pretending you're inspired. Check out Sanctum Gold. It's an independent shop based in Columbus, making solid gold jewelry that actually has a personality. Nostalgic, slightly weird in a good way. Think old school game consoles or virtual pets, but done in real gold, not novelty junk. And if she's into heart necklaces, these are the kind she'll actually wear. Small batch, solid gold, not the same mass-produced stuff every other guy panic buys. Search Sanctum Gold on Etsy. That's SANCTUM. Valentine's Day is coming. This is one of those gifts that makes it look like you know what you're doing, even if you don't. Search Sanctum Gold on Etsy.com. Celebrate the magic of Valentine's Day with gifts that speak straight from the heart, turning simple moments into memories that linger forever. From the first click to the unwrapping, CoolBundlesMarket.shop. That's CoolBundlesMarket.shop brings joy, connection, and love to every choice. Enter promo code MyValentine10 for a special offer valid until February 14th. Cool Bundles Market, where every gift tells a story of love.
All right, we're still in radio station break. This was Don Lemon last night or yesterday on his on his podcast.
Republicans better wake up. A dictator doesn't need Congress. Thank you very much, Don Stanley.
Oh my God, he just
right on to you.
Can't keep his mouth shut.
Right on to you. I think people think that I see that there are some trolls in the comments. I think people think like I'm really scared. I am not. And you don't even know the experience that I had over the last couple of days. And I will talk about them at some point, and I'll see, maybe it's sooner than later, but we'll see. But it wasn't at all what I expected in many ways. As a journalist, it was quite a learning experience, taking many, many, many notes. And so when you're in certain positions, you have to think about, I think as a journalist, I always think about what's the positive experience in this? What do I do? And I sort of take notes, mental notes. If I have a device or whatever,
let me pause that. I'm going to play some of this when we get back on the radio. I was talking about this over the weekend. Don Lemon has no idea how serious these charges are against him. And what's going to do him in is he can't keep his mouth shut. He's using this as a big comeback. And it's a big mistake for him. All right, we got about 35 seconds or so. We'll be back. Stand by. 25 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Chris from Chicago.
Hey, Chris. What's on your mind?
Hey, why do you say 3/4 of the country is with Trump on immigration when he only have a 39% approval rating amongst Fox?
No, there was. I went through some polling early last week on this, and it was from the New York Times, CBS, and ABC News about deportation of illegals, and every liberal poll, he had over 50% approval.
But you say 3/4 of the country. That's not 3/4.
Okay.
That's what
Well,
you continue to say.
over 50%.
That's not 3/4.
Okay. So, but it's over 50%. That's
so
the
why do you
majority.
continue to lie?
It's the majority. See, you don't understand
It's not the
there's a
majority.
difference between misspeaking and lying. You know that, right?
Okay, but just like you
Okay,
said,
I'll stand corrected. It's only over 50% of the country support President
not
Trump.
according to Fox. Not according to Fox.
Okay, well that's your record. That's your source of record now, Fox News.
Hey, that's what I'd have to. That's what I
Okay.
got to go by. I mean, it's
Yes.
and the same thing with Melania. Only 600,000 people seen that movie this weekend. Like what are you talking about?
The Melania movie, the Melania movie, which is a documentary. It's number 3 at the box office this weekend, and it's the highest grossing documentary in over 10 years. To try to spin that into not being a success.
Only 600,000 people seen that movie this weekend.
It's
and the
600.
Movie theaters was empty.
They were not empty. There have been reports over the weekend of full movie theaters and sold out shows.
Well, not according to my source.
What's your source? Somebody
Once
on
again,
X? What are you, some newsman that has sources?
No. Rotten Tomatoes. What you keep on?
Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes. 99% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Once again, that is just registered, approved.
Those are people that are
verified.
it is verified. It
That's
is
what-
people
that's what
that
it was.
were
Yeah,
verified having seen the movie. 99%. Those who were verified having seen the movie.
That's fine, but the movie only have a 1.5 star rating. Like, are you serious?
By liberal critics.
The documentary, huh?
By liberal critics.
Okay, but stop gaslighting and saying that.
What are you talking about? It has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm looking at it right now.
That's a 99% approved viewers. That's all it is. It's not.
Well,
saying
yeah. The only one that counts are the people that went and saw it. You can't go by the reviews of people that didn't see it.
Critics? They don't. The critics don't count, right?
No, they're all liberal hacks. Yes, yes. Oh.
We'll see what the movie do next week.
If you were a movie critic, you're right. You need to have Hollywood access. If you wrote a positive review of this movie, you'd be out of work.
Oh my goodness, man! Come on, I've never seen an administration as such a victim. Like y'all create them now to be like
victim. We're winning. We're not victims. We're winning. We're winning. 99. We just had Melania is the highest grossing documentary in the United States in over 10 years.
600,000 people viewed it this weekend.
So what?
You ought to be worried.
People don't go to the movies anymore.
What are you talking about? What did you say now?
Well, that's amazing. And they went and saw that.
600,000 people. That's amazing. Out of 77 million voters, I believe.
I don't know how many people.
Votes.
I don't know how many people saw it, but I know it's the highest grossing.
600,000.
I don't know.
600,000.
So what?
Well, look it up.
No, I'm not going to look it up.
7 million votes, I believe.
This is what I know. This is what I know. Okay, it's the highest grossing documentary in 10 years. So how you can spin that into being negative? All right, I appreciate the call. I did. Yeah, how can you turn that into a negative? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Rebecca from Plantation.
Yes, Rebecca.
I have a few things to say, but let me start because I went to see the movie yesterday with my besties. It was amazing. But let me just say one thing. This guy, Doc, who sounds like a girl, a woman, is so annoying. Why does he call every day? He has nothing to say that anyone cares about. I don't know why you keep, letting him talk and talk. He's so annoying. But anyway, that's not why.
Well, because I let people call in of all political backgrounds.
Yeah, I know, but he calls every day. It's so annoying. I just can't. Anyway, couple things about the movie. She's so elegant. She's so graceful. And I noticed that even though it was about her, it didn't feel like narcissistic, like, oh, let's talk about me. Classy woman. I loved it. And I felt
And
like
by the way, I just looked it up. That
Inauguration
600,000, that 600,000 number that he just mentioned, that comes from CNBC. I just looked it up. CNBC. Give me a break. They hate Trump. This is Variety. Now keep in mind, Melania, the highest grossing documentary feature film in over a decade. This is Variety. Who saw Melania? Older white women drove the box office. So what?
So what?
Young
So
people
what?
don't go to the movies anymore. Only older people still go to the movies. So what?
And so let me tell you a couple of things that I noticed. Did you notice what do you call it? With the Beast, the license plate said 45 dash 47
Yes.
comma. That was kind of cool.
I did notice that.
And
I
the
did
other
notice
thing
that.
that
Yeah, I did pick up on it. I was thinking the same thing when I saw that in the movie. Yeah.
Right. And then the other thing that I noticed, I mean, I loved it, and it went by so fast. Like, I'm going to go watch it again. I'm going to have a watching party at my house with all my Trump girlfriends as well. But anyway, the other thing that I noticed that I didn't pick up, my girlfriend went, Then notice the part where they were changing the White House in those 5 hours that they have, and they showed the trash bag. Oh, my God. Did you notice that? I was thinking,
The trash bags? No, I didn't notice the
trash.
trash bags. I didn't notice the trash. I don't remember the trash bags.
Yeah, I know. That was pretty cool.
It was, but you notice there is I've not heard from a single person who saw Melania that didn't absolutely love it. And I'll tell you, I've been hearing from people all weekend, and this was the experience of my theater. People were crying during the movie, and when it was over, they were applauding.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't cry. I teared up.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps at moments because, again, we were reliving it, and we got to see behind the scenes. And she's so creative. She's so gentle. She's so sensitive. And it was just, we got to see a side of her that we don't normally see because she's so to herself, and she doesn't take away from the president. And the moments that they were together, the banter, the part where in the speech, remember when he said, and peacemaker, he turns around and points at her? We would have never known why he did that if it weren't for the movie.
She told him to add Unify. She told him to add Unifier.
Yeah, Unifier.
And then he did, and then he said, don't. He said, don't put that in the movie. And she said, keep it in. And then it was there. Yeah.
You're keeping it in.
All right. Appreciate the call. Take care. All right. Let me take another call or two before we break. Not one person has called in who's seen Melania that didn't love it, right? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, brother? It's Rafael Garcia from Boston. I'm a Patriot, mega.
Okay.
And I'm just calling in to say that the illegal immigrants need to be deported because they're criminal invaders and they're breaking the law.
Yes. That is correct. They have a 100% crime rate. They're here illegally.
Correct. That's all I wanted to say. Great show, Craig. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care. All right. Let's take our last break of the 7 o'clock hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back. On the line, we have Jamie Levac from Swift Tax. It's tax season. Jamie, by now, people have received their 1099s, their W-2s, and all their other tax forms. Now that people have all their tax information together, what are they supposed to do now?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Brian. Employers should have already issued any tax forms that you need. Any bank should have issued any mortgage interest forms that you need, along with health insurance information. If you have everything together and you feel like your accountant has not been getting your maximum deductions and really getting you a maximum refund, then I suggest you give me a call. If you have even the slightest doubt that you're not getting every dollar that you need, that's where I come in. I'd be more than happy to take a look at everything. It can be cumbersome, gathering all the documents and making a decision, but, calling me and creating a strategy one time could save you a lifetime worth of headache. Taxes are very stressful. It's very complex. It's a language of its own. Instead of, just trusting this with anybody, give me a call. At the end of the day, I'm here to help you save money. any chance I get. And a call is free. A call is free.
That's right.
Spending 10, 15 minutes with me on the phone can help you, in the long run at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And, with the big, beautiful bill, the entire tax code is changed. And Jamie Levac at Swift Tax knows that new tax code inside and out. He's going to make sure you get every deduction that you're allowed to under the law to maximize your return. And with Jamie Levac at Swift Tax, you can get that money in your account from that return in as little as 24 hours. Give Jamie Levac a call right now. You can also text. This number rings directly to Jamie Levac at Swift Tax, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. Okay, about 30 seconds or so, a little more than that. We'll be back.
All right, man. I'm in the car.
Really? What about the AC part? Check it.
Huh?
I'm talking off the air. Hold on. Just check it so we know. Because if it's not, we got to call them. Okay. All right. Coming back. All right. Stand by. 10 seconds. All right, we're back. And on the line from Cruise and Travel Depot, we have Ian, who's the travel agent that handles all of our MAGA cruises. And, we're less than 2 months away from returning from our 10th annual MAGA cruise. Ian, welcome. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. 6 weeks, I think.
Oh, my goodness. I can't think of a better day to talk about a beautiful Caribbean cruise than when it's 32 degrees outside in Florida.
I know, right?
Oh, my God. Mike, our board op, he had ice on his windshield this morning. Can you believe?
I saw frost.
Oh, my goodness. I don't even know what to do with that anymore. But you and I were talking over the weekend, and you told me something about our cruise and one of our excursions that I did not know about. And I said, "Oh, we got to talk about this on the air." Do you know which one I'm talking about? Do you remember? Because we talked about a lot.
I do.
Okay.
I was just reviewing all of our shore excursions and our shore excursion data for Tortola, and I discovered a pretty interesting fact because I like to be in the know. So one of the spots that our catamaran is scheduled.
Now the catamaran. Now, just for you guys that don't know, the catamaran. What we do. This is our signature excursion on our cruises. Ian charters a private catamaran. It's a boat. And this is a luxury boat, by the way. We charter a private boat to go sail around one of our destinations in. And you can get out of the boat and go snorkeling. We stop at premium destinations. So that's what it's our private charter just for our group. And yeah, go ahead, Ian.
No problem. So we're doing it in Tortola this year, and it's the first time we've ever done a catamaran in Tortola. So I was reading about the stops and the places that the boat is going to go to, and one of them was Norman Island, and I was digging a little deeper. That's at the southern end of the Tortola archipelago, and Norman Island was the inspiration for Treasure Island, a classic book that most of us read, in school, and I thought that was a really cool factoid.
And Tortola is in the British Virgin Islands, and the Virgin Islands are beautiful. So we're going to have this private boat charter. And those of you that have been on past cruises, you know how exciting that is. And you don't have to leave the boat, by the way. You can stay on the boat the whole time. I get in and go swimming, do some snorkeling. But you can stay in the boat. And we have multiple destinations. And, of course, Robert Louis Stevenson's classic, Treasure Island, we're actually going to the island where, I guess if he was real, Captain Kidd's treasure would be buried. It's pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. And like you just said, I've had people say to me, well, I don't really swim, I don't really snorkel. Those of us that live in Florida, I mean, being on the water in a luxury catamaran, with a nice drink in your hand is a great experience.
Oh, yes.
Even if you don't swim.
No doubt. And yeah, no doubt at all. And we have a great time. Now, I know it's freezing here in Florida, and if you're around the country, it's even colder. Join us on our 10th annual MAGA cruise. There's a handful of cabins left on board the ship. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. If you've not yet made your reservation for the catamaran, call Ian and get it set up today, because this going to the island that was the inspiration for Treasure Island, believe me, it's going to be one you don't want to miss, and it's going to be one of those that very well will get sold out before we set sail. So call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot today to either book, if you're already to book on the cruise itself, our 10th annual MAGA cruise, or if you've not made your booking for this incredible shore excursion, do that as well. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. All right, Ian, take care. We'll talk soon.
Stay warm.
I'll try. Take care. All right, so I want to, of course, we got the arrest of Don Lemon over the weekend. And Don Lemon, he does not have an understanding of how serious these charges against him are. Okay, this Klan Act that he's charged with, the Klan Act is the reason the Klan Act became a law. And remember, the Biden regime was arresting people for praying on sidewalks in front of abortion clinics and such, right? They didn't break into the abortion clinics. They were just praying outside, and they're sending grandmas to prison. The Klan Act was an anti-domestic terrorism law. The Democrat activist organization, the KKK, because make no mistake about it, they were a Democrat and domestic terrorist organization. The Klan would break into churches to harass civil rights activists. That was mainly organized through the black churches. And that is a very, very serious federal law. This is not some DUI, which is serious to me. Any arrest is serious to me. I've never been arrested. But this is a serious federal crime that you can go to prison for. And many people have gone to prison for doing these things. And Don Lemon, because his new media career post-CNN has not been doing that well, he thinks this is his ship coming in, that this is the greatest thing that ever happened to him. Well, he obviously is going viral right now, but he is being prosecuted not just by the Trump Justice Department, who's all over this. What has really not been focused in on too much, people talk about judges all the time, he got an indictment from a grand jury in Minnesota. A grand jury is made up of the same people on the regular juries. You get called for jury duty, and you might end up on a trial, or you might end up on a grand jury. So the same jury pool in Minnesota that they call upon for trials, for trial juries, is the same jury pool for a grand jury. So regular citizens in Minnesota brought this indictment. I got a sneeze coming because of this weather. My apologies. I would sneeze during the break if I could, but I can't. This cold weather is killing me. So that does not look good for Don Lemon going to trial. If his lawyers have half a brain, the best they would be able to hope for with this jury pool, here it goes again. Oh, my apologies. And thank you for all the blessings throughout our listening audience. Sneezes come in 3, but I think that was 5 or 6. It's like celebrity deaths come in 3s. But for him to get an indictment among the same jury pool that'll be sitting in a jury trial, his lawyers, the best that they're probably hoping for, if they have half a brain, and they may be as nutty as he is, would be a hung jury. But these are very, very serious charges, and he got the indictment from a grand jury. This wasn't just the Justice Department, the Trump Justice Department, going to a judge, and they didn't go to a judge and go judge shopping. They went to a grand jury and got the indictment. And while they'll tell you that you can indict a ham sandwich in a grand jury, they couldn't get the indictments against Letitia James, could they? And they've had difficulty with indictments for these lawfare people. And this grand jury indictment of Don Lemon really shows me the kind of trouble that he is in when it from the jury pool out there. So no, people in Minnesota are fed up with what's going on, and it tells you where the mindset of the average Minnesotan is, and that's to indict Don Lemon. So he's in a lot of trouble, and one of the problems he really has going for him is he hasn't been able to keep his mouth shut because the publicity is so important. He's so arrogant, on top of being a narcissist, that he can't stop talking. And he's got his show that he's doing, and he's going to be doing a whole bunch of interviews. Listen to him. This is him just yesterday on his podcast.
Republicans better wake up. A dictator doesn't need Congress. Thank you very much, Don Stanley. Right on to you. Right on to you.
He's talking to his chat room, but listen to what he says.
I think people think that I see that there are some trolls in the comments. I think people think like I'm really scared. I am not.
You hear that? You know, judges don't like that. And the entire jury pool is hearing this because they haven't been picked yet. He's so arrogant that he thinks because he's so famous, right? And Minnesota, he thinks is so liberal that he doesn't even have to be. You are being charged, and you're going to go to trial on domestic terrorism charges. And to be so comfortable, I don't have a worry in the world. Courts don't like that. Juries don't like that. Judges don't like that. And you know what? The public don't either. And because however long it takes him to get to trial, let's see if a judge puts a gag order on him. Oh. If he gets a gag order, what's he going to do, Don Lemon? But, you know, the prosecution, the Justice Department may not want a gag order. He's going to do so much damage to himself because since he can't stop talking, right? He's going to keep talking, doing interviews, doing his show, interview after interview. I wouldn't be surprised if he's on The View this week. You know, he's going to start saying things that are just crazy that he shouldn't be saying. So the government probably doesn't want a gag order. So they may not move in to try to get one, but a judge could throw one down. No, and it could be a liberal judge that's trying to help Don Lemon by shutting him up with a gag order. But the fact that he can't stop talking, because everything he's doing, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. Everything that he's saying and will say could very well be used against him in evidence. And he's not going to be able to stop himself from saying things that he shouldn't say that are going to incriminate him. He's going to incriminate himself at some point if he's not already done it, because he's so desperate to talk and have the publicity around everything. I want to talk about coastal weight loss secret. Oh, man. You know, another thing I hear from listeners all the time who have lost weight like I've had with coastal weight loss secret. And the people that I talk to, their experience is so much like mine that and a lot of people that have lost weight with coastal weight loss secret have lost weight in numbers much higher than me, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, even up in the 250, 350 range, and they've had success. And not only did they lose the weight, they've kept it off. Coastal weight loss secret works. And you know what's amazing about it, there's no pills, no injections, no surgery, no intense workout. I never felt hungry. You don't have to starve yourself. Now, without it, I didn't do any exercise, and I still lost about a pound a day. If I would have exercised, I would have lost maybe a little bit more a day, but about a pound a day with no exercise, that was good enough for me. And in the long run, it was great that I did it that way, because since I didn't have any lifestyle changes that were major, keeping the weight off has been effortless. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call, no matter where you're located, and schedule your no-charge consultation. We have listeners from all over America that are losing weight with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, we're coming up on the top of the hour break. When we get back, I'll go to your calls. I've got other stories to cover as well that we haven't touched on yet. If you have seen Melania over the weekend, I'd very much like to hear your review of it. as well. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll take our break for the top of the hour, come back with your calls and more right after this. Now, the sneezes are coming, guys.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
Do you believe the craftsmanship still matters? Then visit DivineEscapes.com. Based in Pennsylvania, DivineEscapes.com specializes in natural stone hardscaping built the way it's been done for centuries, using dry stone masonry techniques that rely on physics, balance, and experience, not shortcuts. Every project at DivineEscapes.com begins with the land itself. Each stone is hand-selected, shaped, and set with intention, combining traditional standards with original artistic design. The result is stonework that doesn't just decorate your landscape, it belongs there. DivineEscapes.com uses locally sourced stone whenever possible, reducing environmental impact while creating features that feel natural, timeless, and enduring. From flowing stone patios and mosaics to sculptural walls, boulder benches, and one-of-a-kind stone art, every piece is crafted with precision and expertise. If you're looking for something authentic, built to last, and unlike anything else, you'll find it at DivineEscapes.com. You'll also find great gifts, too. Go right now to DivineEscapes.com. View the inventory and see what natural stone can become. DivineEscapes.com. Valentine's Day's coming up. Skip the flowers that fade and give the gift that lasts every single night. My Pillow has incredible Valentine's deals on pillows, sheets, towels, and more. Perfect for the one you love or yourself. Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout for huge savings, or call 1-800-716-4879. Better sleep, better mornings, a better Valentine's Day. That's mypillow.com. Promo code KANE.
All right, I want to play this. We're still in radio break for just over a minute. I want to make sure there's no unsafe radio language. That's Jesse Ventura, by the way. Do you recognize him?
You know, you got to remember.
Oh, my goodness.
The last election was really a simple one, and I blame the United States people for this, too. They're getting what they deserve, because the last election was simple. You had the choice of the Constitution or the criminal, and for some reason, they took the criminal. So they shouldn't be surprised at what they're getting. He's a convicted sex offender. He don't pay taxes. Well, you know, he's a draft dodger, wouldn't serve his country, and yet he stands out there and preaches patriotism to us.
Wasn't when Jesse Ventura was governor, was he libertarian? 30 seconds, we'll be back. Wasn't he libertarian? I think so. What a creep. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I'm Brian. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard in Pompano.
Hey, Richard.
Okay, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I want to say something about it. I hope it does great. When a movie does not do great, it goes right to DVD, or it used to. And what I'm hoping for is that somehow it's a little too much before the midterm, but somehow get the DVDs out.
Well, I don't know if there's not going to be any DVDs. The movie was produced by Amazon, so when it's after the theatrical release, it's going to be streaming on Amazon.
Okay, I was just going to say that Amazon will prevent that from happening, but if there's some other way, I don't know, the streaming's not as effective. I'm a collector, so I favor DVDs.
No, you'll be able to. Well, you're rare. Okay, you're rare.
Yeah.
I got rid of all my DVDs. I threw them away years ago.
Really? I gave some away to assisted living.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. No, when this Amazon, not only will it be streaming on Amazon, it's going to be they're going to have added scenes that are not in the theatrical release, which is pretty clever, which means that people that saw it and would never see a movie over again will go back and watch it because it's going to be an extended version of the movie. And you'll be able to download it, I'm sure, for free and buy it. I'll probably buy it, too.
Okay, well, you know who Bezos is. Isn't he the head of Amazon?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos.
But doesn't he have a very poor relationship with Trump that he would prevent that?
I don't know. He was at the inaugural party and everything else. He's been to Mar-a-Lago many times. They seem to have made up whatever problems they might have had.
Well,
all right, hey, listen, Richard, I appreciate the call. If the future of the movie depends on DVD sales, like Richard from Pompano says, we're in trouble. No, can you imagine? All right, I was talking earlier about all these musical acts at the Grammys, how they think they're fighting the power, but they're really with the system. I found this interview with Jesse Ventura, and I would not have known it was him unless it said so when I saw it, because he's not even recognizable. I mean, he looks like a creepy homeless guy that might play a drunken Santa. He could play the next bad Santa in that movie. I mean, he's really a creepy looking guy. But he went on CBCNN, I guess, at Canadian television. He went on Canadian television to bash President Trump. And I'll play you this clip in a minute. But, Jesse Ventura, who's the former governor of Minnesota, right, many years ago, and my recollection with Jesse Ventura is that he wasn't he a Libertarian Party member when he was the governor? I'm pretty sure. It's been a long time, but wasn't he the Libertarian candidate? And like these musicians at the Grammys, Jesse Ventura, who was big, I guess, Billy Jack type figure, if you guys remember Billy Jack. Billy Jack's a little bit before my time, but I know who he is. He was legendary, and conservatives loved him because he was an independent thinker who was fighting the man and fighting the political establishment. And now he goes on Canadian television and takes like these singers at the Grammys last night and takes the side of the establishment, which is to be a never-Trumper. And the things that Jesse Ventura says, it's disappointing in the very least. This is Jesse Ventura on Canadian TV over the weekend.
You got to remember, the last election was really a simple one, and I blame the United States people for this too. They're getting what they deserve, because the last election was simple. You had the choice of the Constitution or the criminal, and for some reason, they took the criminal. So they shouldn't be surprised at what they're getting. He's a convicted sex offender.
No, he's not, Jesse Ventura. You're a liar.
He don't pay taxes.
Yes, he does. Are you kidding?
Well, he's a draft dodger, wouldn't serve his country, and yet he stands out there and preaches patriotism to us. You got to remember.
I mean, isn't that sad? It really is. It's sad enough to see what Jesse Ventura looks like now. But you see this guy who was such a legendary figure in the conservative movement, and you look and you see what he's become, and it's really a sad thing, isn't it? Now, the liberals are making a big deal over this story today, and this is kind of like to me, the lead story was the success of the Melania movie. But the media want to bury that. That's such a great success. The Melania movie is such a great success, and everyone who saw it loved it so much. They want to act like that's not a big story. They're trying to make a story out of this. 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos and father returned to Minnesota from ICE facility in Texas. This is the father who abandoned his 5-year-old child on the side of the road in the snow while he ran from ICE. And they've been reunited and released, and they're back in Minnesota. And the media, the mainstream media, are trying to portray this story as something that you're going to be sympathetic towards. When I say you, I mean the American people. They think the American people are going to be sympathetic. And I'll tell you, the picture of the father, the only reason I know this is the father is because they tell me. I would have thought that this was the mother. The father of this 5-year-old child looks like a woman. If you look at the picture, and it's the one that they're showing all over the news. It's where he's wearing a red sweater and red pants, the dad. Does that look like a woman or a man? I don't know, but that's what he identifies. I don't know. He looks like a woman to me. And I don't think I'm alone in that. That's like that elephant in the room people don't want to say. But anyway, they have this photo of them reunited. And yeah, the boy's cute. No doubt about it. We all have sympathy for a 5-year-old little child, little boy, cute little boy. But this is like the worst father I've ever seen. You know, what they need to do is a DNA test to find out if this is really the father of this child. Because I'm suspect of it. You know, when he left his child, his little 5-year-old boy, alone in the snow on the side of the road, and he ran, that goes against every instinct that a parent has. You know, a parent, a criminal parent like this would at least grab the child and try to carry the child with them as they were running from the police, the ICE officers. But he left his 5-year-old boy there. You wouldn't leave, a half-decent parent wouldn't leave a 5-year-old child alone in the home, in a room in the home outside of the child's bedroom. And I've never heard of a father leaving a 5-year-old child on the side of the road in the snow like that, abandoned. You don't know what's going to happen to them. It's not safe. They could walk out in the road to follow you and run after you. You know, I mean, I've never heard of such a thing. So the idea that they've been, the stories are a little vague about if they've been reunited and he's in charge with the kid. It's a little vague. But this is also a child neglect issue. And those of you out there that have children, when your child is 5 years old, outside of the bedroom of your home, where would you leave them alone? Would you leave your child alone in your kitchen at 5? Would you leave them alone in your backyard at 5? No. He left his 5-year-old alone in the snow on the side of the road while he ran. Think about how horrific that is for a child, too. I remember one time when I was a real little kid. I barely remember this because I was so young, but I was like maybe 4 or 5 or 6, somewhere between 4 and 6. And I was at a department store with my mother. She was shopping. We were shopping. And I was looking at, so I looked up. I didn't see my mom. I was crying right away, like 4 years old. I was terrified. I thought I was lost for good. It was terrifying. So much so that all these years later, I still remember it. Right? And my mom was just on the other side of the rack of clothes. I'd walk the other way away from her. And it was like 3 seconds we were apart. Imagine what it's like. You're that age and your dad runs down the street and leaves you in the snow. This is one of the most unfit fathers I've ever heard of in my life. And that is not an exaggeration. Do you suffer from neuropathy? You know, you might have neuropathy and not even know it. Listen to this. These are the main symptoms of neuropathy: numbness, pain, burning, tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness, dizziness, loss of balance. Are you falling down all the time? Do you have the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet? Do you have no feeling at all? If you have any of those symptoms, you may have neuropathy. If you've already been diagnosed with neuropathy, call Lighthouse Medical. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show so you can take advantage of their no-charge consultation. Lighthouse Medical, they're in Pompano, but they can help you with your neuropathy no matter where you're located in the world. Steve Kane had neuropathy in the worst way. After just one treatment, he saw relief. They rid him of his neuropathy symptoms over 3.5 years ago, and they have not returned. Give them a call for your no-charge consultation right now. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. That's lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free. For the first time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Wow, do you see that? There's free shipping all over the place on MyPillow. I just got these commercials from Mike Lindell this morning. I'm gonna have to go through those after the show because that's amazing. Free shipping on the mattresses, in the mattress toppers. Free shipping on the mega sale, which is all the top MyPillow products. When they offer free shipping, you got to take advantage of it quick. With our promo code Kane, of course. All right, we got about 30 seconds and we'll be back. Yeah, I mean, this father, how could they give a kid back to that man? All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Hey, Jay.
Well, yeah, you made my day today with your little, some of the things that you just said, and I'm trying to stop your sex over, hearing both people. Well, I heard that you, you said that you need security now. I wonder why. Why do you need security?
I didn't say I need security today.
You said you have security now.
I didn't say that on the show today. I didn't say that.
Okay, you said it on the show another day. I was looking at an old video.
Oh, you're looking at an old video. Yeah, I do on our MAGA cruise. I do have security on the MAGA cruise. Yep.
Oh, okay. You don't have it on a normal day when you come out?
Sometimes I have security. What am I going to tell you? You want my security thing? What do you want to know such information for? I mean, that right there. You asked the question, why do I need security? Because there's idiots like you asking you if I have security right now.
No, I'm only.
Why would you call in and ask if I have security guarding me right now? What kind of question is that?
I'm going to tell you why if you shut up. I'm going to tell you why. Because I was laughing to the fact that somebody's going to try to kick your butt. Not me. But just to the fact that somebody's going to kick your butt makes me laugh. That's why
really?
I said it.
You think it's funny when people commit felonies and assault and battery on people? You think that's funny?
Do you know that Savannah Guthrie's mother's been taken? Do you know that?
She's missing.
And I can guarantee you it's some stupid MAGA person.
Oh, okay. I doubt that.
You know what I really called about is when you talked about that little boy and his dad running off. Did you know that they came into their house and put a gun and the father had him in his arms in the closet?
No, that's Ilian. I mean, my goodness. Are you high? That's Ilian Gonzalez.
No, you are.
That is that's an image of Ilian Gonzalez, and he was being held by Donato Del Rimple, who was the fisherman that found him in the water next to his dead mother. That's not the 5 year.
That's not the guy. No, the little boy. I'm talking about the little boy that they just released.
That is not the one in the closet with the guns. No, that's Ilian Gonzalez, and that was the Clinton. Those were Clinton federal agents pointing the machine gun at 5-year-old Ilian Gonzalez in the closet. Oh my goodness.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Why would you think it's funny? Just like I think it's funny that you need security. Why would you think it's funny about the fact the way they took that 5-year-old boy? And he was lethargic because they weren't feeding him.
No, of course they were feeding. They weren't feeding who? What do you? Why would you think a minute ago, you thought Ilian Gonzalez was this little boy. So you telling me they weren't feeding him comes from the same credible source as the Ilian Gonzalez photo you thought was this little boy. And I think
why would you think it's funny? Why would you think it's funny when people are being hunted down in the street like over in Germany? Why do you think it's funny?
They're hunting people in the streets of Germany today?
I said people are being hunted on the streets in America like they were hunted on the streets in Germany.
When?
That's what I said.
When were they hunted in the streets of Germany like this?
They're hunted right as we speak.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dumb and stupid like you don't
I don't understand the German reference.
Oh, you know what? This is the main thing I want to talk to you about. Do you know a Democrat won in Texas in a state that Trump won by 17 points? Did you know that?
There are, even if you're in a state
Democrats are winning everywhere.
This isn't throw every topic out at the wall, okay? We're talking about first of all, the beginning of your call asking me if I have security and why do I need it and when and how is very suspect. I mean, what kind of person does that? If anything, all right, appreciate the call. If anything happens to me, put Jay from Jersey at the top of the suspect list, guys, okay? I'm just putting that out there. My goodness. You guys, this is what it's like. This is what it's like. But we're the Nazis. But they're the ones that want to commit acts of violence against people just because we have a different opinion. Pretty scary, isn't it? You're darn right I have security, and that's why. All right. So the Don Lemon case, I'm loving this. Don Lemon is in big trouble. Like I told you, he's got indicted by a grand jury in Minnesota. The same jury pool that'll be used for a trial jury. And Todd Blanche, I love Todd. You guys love Todd Blanche? He's Deputy Attorney General, and he was one of Trump's private attorneys in these cases in New York. And he does a great job. He was on with George Snuffleupagus on ABC's This Week yesterday. They're talking about Don Lemon.
So when do you believe that Mr. Lemon crossed the line from reporting on what was going on to criminal activity?
Conveniently missing from what you just showed, George, is the appellate court and a judge on the appellate court who said just a few days later there was clearly probable cause and it wasn't even a close question. So, and by the way, a grand jury, which is what our system has set up to determine whether probable cause exists, concluded that there was probable cause. That indictment is now public. Everybody in this country can pull it up and read for themselves and see what the grand jury found that Mr. Lemon did. I am not going to comment on the charges specifically because it's not appropriate, but it's interesting that we talk about the First Amendment right. You have a right of freedom of religion, which is just as important as any other right that we have. And George, I don't know if you've watched the videos or read the indictment about what it's alleged that Mr. Lemon did, but if anybody in this country thinks that is, quote, independent journalism, I would like to have a conversation with you. Now, he's obviously has a very good lawyer. He can raise defenses in court to the extent he wants to, but nobody in this country should feel comfortable storming into a church while it's ongoing and disrupting that church service and thinking that we're just going to stand by and let that happen, because there is a statute that does not allow that to happen. It doesn't matter if you happen to be a former CNN journalist. It doesn't matter if you're a rioter. It doesn't matter if you think you're peacefully protesting. You are not allowed to do that.
So okay, so so we got some pretty serious charges here, and Deputy Attorney General here is pretty confident that things are going to go the way that we want them to go in this case. And, the thing, this is pretty amazing, isn't it? Thing with Don Lemon, did you guys see his press conference when he came out Friday late in the day? Have you ever seen someone come out of jail looking that good? And, all this reporting that's going on, I haven't seen any reporting about what went on inside that jail. Was he put in a cell? Were those the clothes they arrested him in? And there's we haven't gotten any behind the scenes of what happened that I've seen reported anywhere. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's JJ from Mass. Good morning.
Hey, JJ.
The interesting thing about the Wedge of Lemon there, Don Lemon, when he came out of jail, he's reading a script.
Yes.
I mean, he's got to look at a piece of paper to figure out what he's going to say. What the hell is that? Listen, Jesse Ventura, oh my God, everything that man said was a lie. I mean, Christ, he almost made Doc look good. I just, in the movie, Brian, I have not seen it. I'm gonna wait and see it at home. But I'll tell you what, if you look at all the variables with regard to this, Melania the movie, I mean, we've just had historic, the polar vortex and the bomb cyclone. We had a storm that basically went from coast to coast. My brother lives in Tennessee now, and he was telling me it's insane. He never expected. I mean, the weather that they had there, it's all over the country.
Yeah.
I've got a 7-foot drift out back.
Yeah.
I'm up in Massachusetts, and I've got a 7-foot drift out back on my patio door.
Yeah.
Where a 7-foot drift has never occurred before.
Mm.
The weather is insane. If the weather was nice,
I
mean, 10 million, I could see easily 30.
If this was a summer release, it would have it broke box office records, but it would have been 2, 3, 4 times as high. But listen, you and others have called and said, "Well, I'm going to wait till it's online, right? It's going to be on Amazon." It's important to go out and show your support for Trump by helping the box office. You want to go and see it in the theater. The second week box office is very important. We don't want it to tank next week. And to say, well, I'm just going to wait till it's streaming on TV, that doesn't help. We need to get people out there buying tickets and seeing the movie. It's a poll. Yeah. It's like a poll, man.
I understand.
That's why I'm the only one talking about the movie today. Everyone else wants to talk about anything else because it did so well.
If I was in Florida, Brian, I'd probably go 2 or 3 times. I may go see it. You might have talked me into it. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But I'm listen. When I look at a 7-foot drift, and I'm still digging on that thing. I've got to, because I take
what
my
does that mean? Does that mean snow in the backyard? I don't even know what the words mean in Florida. What does that mean?
I've got a drift. I've got a 7-foot high snow drift.
Oh my goodness!
My back patio door.
Oh my goodness!
The way the wind was blowing. I mean, there's been some drifts out there in the past, but not this big. So I've got to dig. I mean, I like to take my dog out the back,
But now I feel like, it's like I've got to dig an
Oh, that's
I've
no
gotta make
good.
an igloo.
That's no good. All right,
Yeah,
listen, I gotta run for the bottom of the hour break, but I appreciate the call. A drift means a snow packed up. That's crazy. Coastal weight loss secret, guys. Have you not called them yet? Oh my goodness. Inauguration Day, January 20th last year is when I went and met with Coastal Weight Loss Secret for the first time. It's been over a year. You guys see me every day if you watch me on YouTube. And you know the difference. I got my jawline back. I got my neck back. I'm thinner. I'm wearing smaller clothes. And I've not gained any of the weight back, because if I did, every call on the line would be telling you about it. I've not gained any of the way back, and you could see it in my face and in my neck. I never thought I'd lose all this weight. And amazing is my belly's flat now. I did not think I could lose the weight I gained on my stomach. I thought that was just, that's part of middle age. You get that belly. That's just part of it. You got to get used to it. No, flat stomach. I didn't realize I had partially obstructed view. No more. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Whether you want to lose 50 pounds, 150, 250, 350, or even more, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help. No pills, no injections, no surgery, no working out, and you'll never feel hungry either. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300, and online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. All right, stand by, guys. Okay. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, guys.
Good morning.
Hey, it's Brian. How you doing?
Good morning. Good. How you been?
Good. Okay. We are a little over a minute until we're back.
Okay, no problem.
Are you out of town or are you in town today?
No, I'm in town.
Oh, okay. Because usually you come in.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't have to go to the radio station today because it's so freaking cold. I mean, I didn't want to leave the house.
It's so ridiculous.
Oh,
I mean, I'm
goodness.
walking the dog. I'm ready to just bury myself in a hole.
Oh, forget it. No dog walking today. This is crazy.
Oh,
This is crazy. All right, we got just less than a minute, so I'm going to keep you on the line here.
Yeah, let's just talk about, what's going on out there with annuities. That's all. And the interest rates is everything. And I got a new bonus, 15%. I did a show on it, me and Jenny.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
15% bonus. It's a great indexed annuity. Great way to go right now for somebody who wants to beef up their money,
That's great. Okay, stand by. We have less than 30 seconds. So, all right, stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the line, we have Jupiter Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas, good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
Oh, man, you were telling me before during the break, and this is amazing. I know I'm going to cut right to the chase because, we talk a lot about these annuities that you offer that have bonuses, and you've got an annuity today that has a massive bonus to it. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So it's an indexed annuity, and it's got a 15% starting bonus. Day one, dropped into your account, drop in $100,000. Your new balance is $115,000 plus whatever the gains are of the index that we pick, whether it's the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, one of the indicating indexes. And if that goes up, your money goes up additionally. It's a great way to start with the new year. I'd be honest with you. It's a great product.
So that's a 15% bonus regardless on this index annuity, regardless what the market does. But if the market performs well, it's even over 15% you're making?
Correct. Let's say the market goes up another 6 or 8%. You're up now 20, 23%, depending on what it is. It's a great way to go.
That's amazing. I mean, it just blows my mind. I don't know why everyone's not in annuities. Last time you were in studio, this is kind of something I've stumbled across talking to listeners, is that people in retirement are living so much longer than they used to. And a lot of people have a good retirement, but they didn't think they were going to be living 30 or 35 years after retirement. And what was good money 20, 25, 30 years ago just isn't cutting it today. And that annuity mailbox money coming every month for the rest of their life, it means that they don't have financial worries any longer.
Just ask yourself one question. If you're in retirement or going into retirement, is your money going to last as long as you do? That's the biggest question that everybody's worried about. We can show you how your money will last the rest of your life, whether you have a long life or a short life. You're going to get it. Your wife's going to get it. Your husband's going to get it. You'll never run out of money with an income annuity. Guaranteed. Contractual obligation the insurance company gives you that you will never run out of money. Period.
Yeah. And when you talk about a 15% bonus, if you invested that $100,000, say it's $100,000, we use $100,000 because the math's easy, right? And you're making you make the $15,000 on day one. If you put $100,000 in the stock market and everything went right and the stars aligned perfectly, how long would it take to earn 15% on your money in a typical stock market investment? That's not guaranteed.
I would say a couple of years, could be 2 years, 3 years, but the problem is you're worried about it. I always talk about my wife. If she gets that pit stomach ache, we don't invest in something. She tells me I don't feel it, we don't do it. And this stuff, you don't have to worry about it. It's guaranteed.
Right. And that's a couple of years if everything went perfectly. Plus, with the stock market investment, you're not getting that monthly revenue stream every month for the rest of your life.
Correct. The whole thing about these annuities is they do things differently than your bank does, than your broker does, and maybe your other advisor doesn't do. This is why you purchase an annuity, so you have those safety factors. They're never going to lose money on you. They're going to guarantee you income, and every month for the rest of your life and your spouse's life, you're going to get an income check for life.
It seems to me with standard investments, right? Like you have whatever type of investments you have through a broker. When you're in the workforce and not retired, hopefully you're adding money to it. But in retirement, in those traditional things, whether it's a 401k or some fund, you're not adding really in your retirement, except, in some rare situations, you're taking away from your retirement for extra money all the time. You know what I mean? You're going away from your principal. With an annuity, you're not touching your principal.
You don't have to. We can do an interest-only option, which means you're only taking your interest, especially for somebody who says, well, I'm worried about my kids. I want to make sure my kids get the money. We'll do an interest-only option. You're never touching your principal if that's what you want to do.
That's amazing.
There's two sides to the coin. We make the product fit to you. So we're not just going to give you a size 12 when you're a size 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what Joe means by that is there's many different types of annuities. So, depending on what your goals are, what your situation may be, there's many different types of annuities. Before I met Joe Thomas, I thought there was just like one annuity, and that's what there was. But there's all kinds of different types of annuities. Give Joe Thomas a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. Okay, it's 561-743-0999, 743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. That's jupiterjoe.com. All right, Joe Thomas, we'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care, take care. All right, we are back. Usually Joe's in studio with me. We're not in studio. And I was telling Joe during the break, I was like, I'm so glad we're doing this on the phone today because it's so cold. Neither of us want to go outside, right? I mean, it's just, I know a lot of people, they think, oh, you guys in Florida, you're so wimpy with the temperature. It's negative whatever in Michigan or wherever, somebody is. When you move to Florida and you live here for a couple years, you'll lose your tolerance for those winter weathers. I mean, we're very spoiled, and I cannot wait for the heat of the summer. Now, this is a person you're not going to hear me talk about too much as time moves forward, and I've been ignoring them for a while, but I'm going to mention them today. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she gave an interview, and this was it a podcast interview? She did a podcast interview somewhere. And I'm not going to play you the audio soundbite because I'm so disgusted by Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she's moved into a new phase now. She's no longer in Congress, so she's moving into the phase of irrelevancy. And she didn't get that spot on The View. I didn't hear any announcements that she was going to be the co-host on The View, and I don't see her as a permanent pundit over there on CNN or MSNBC. So that $25 million she made in Congress the last 5 or 6 years, I hope she's not spending it all on, she bought that place in Costa Rica and all that stuff, because these big money TV show deals have not panned out for her. But listen to what she says. Marjorie, this is the headline. I am not going to play the audio. I can't stand listening to her voice anymore. She's just a treasonous fraud. Marjorie Taylor Greene bluntly declares MAGA was all a lie in scalding take on Trump's GOP. Was all a lie? There's one thing if she was out there saying, I support the president, I support MAGA, but this and that happened and it was a compromise. And not that I agree that that's happened. But now she's saying that the entire MAGA movement was always a lie from the very beginning. How can you say that and be what she is? This MAGA movement is amazing. And the MAGA movement is not a bunch of politicians in Washington. Of course, some of them are there. The president's the leader and founder of the MAGA movement. But the MAGA movement are people that made Melania's documentary the highest grossing documentary in 10 years. Right? Made $9 million over the weekend. It's a lot of money for a documentary. Third at the box office over the weekend. When there's been a nationwide snowstorm and cold spell like we haven't seen in decades. Coldest day of the year was yesterday in Florida in 15 years. Right? How could she say MAGA was all a lie and then claim that she was a part of it ever? So what has happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene? I don't know. I don't know what's happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know if she was always a fraud. I tend to think that what the president and Susie Wiles talked about is more of the truth. And Susie Wiles gave us more detail than the president. She expected to be able to get President Trump on the phone, not just every day, but sometimes multiple times a day. And while that may have been a little easier when he wasn't back in the White House, he's a little busy now that he's president again. And she couldn't get him on the phone all the time. And she couldn't handle it. And her ego was bruised by that. Can you imagine? And I do see that her fiance, Brian Glenn, he's still in the White House press corps. He hasn't left Washington. But I don't know how that's going to go. You better marry her quick. Because, it's the thing about Marjorie Taylor Greene that upsets me so much is that all of us in the MAGA movement supported her. She went through a lot of things. They were always harassing her. And the president and all of us always stood by her. And her rise to Congress was through the MAGA movement. So when she says it was all a lie, was she ever MAGA or was she always fake MAGA? Was she just an opportunist that wanted to be in Congress? What is the real story behind Marjorie Taylor Greene? I don't have the answer to that. Over time, maybe we'll find out. But I've never felt so betrayed by a politician as her, really, except George Bush and Dick Cheney with the WMD lie. But this is number 2 behind that. And that's a big number. That's pretty bad, the line about WMDs in Iraq. To be number 2 to that tells you what a despicable person you are. And now that she hasn't gotten the job on The View and she's not the pundit on MS Now or CNN, she's going to find that, she might be living in Costa Rica full time because no one in this country is interested in her. All right, let's take our last break of the day. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll come back with the gold report and then the final segment. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. Our number's toll free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Hey there. We have just less than a minute till we're back.
Okay.
Okay, stand by. All right, and it's time for our first gold and silver and precious metals report of the week. On the line from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca is William Youngerman. William Youngerman, how the metals starting off this freezing week?
This freezing week is freezing metals, and metals got started falling last week on just a way overbought situation. We saw that the markets were not only overbought, but the manipulation of the big banks, shorts, and COMEX raising margins on contracts, I think something like 3 times in a very short period of time last week, really created the perfect storm for gold and the precious metals to all come way down. They pulled back after hitting record highs last week. On Friday, gold traded in a range of $5,452 on the top, after seeing $5,596 high on Thursday, and then Friday closing at $4,889.40, which was down $489.60 from the highs. Silver lost $30.32 back to $85.15. Platinum was down $448 at $21.89, and palladium was down $295 at $1,699. That's just a kind of a sample of what you can get when you get markets that are way overdone, too much excitement, everybody jumping into markets that they don't belong in, and especially leveraged buying. And the leveraged buyers got stopped out thoroughly last week. and overnight this week. So the market is going to be in a situation where we're probably going to see a very limited supply of physical metals. Most of the dealers are out, and it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of premium rises we get with these low prices now. Overnight, we saw gold trade at the low of $4,404 and then come back up to a high of $4,886. But right now, we're at $4,700 on gold. That's $188.45 down. Silver down $3.65 at $81.50 the ounce. Platinum down $49 at $2,140. And palladium up $4 at $1,703 the ounce. So the markets are giving us a royal opportunity to jump in and possibly take some nice positions if you're not established. But again, reminding everybody, do not buy on leverage, take possession of your metals, and only buy the physical.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, then, I don't understand why anyone, would, when it comes to gold and silver and the precious metals, this margin thing, you're paying somebody, and who knows if those metals even exist, right? Often some long-off vault they tell you about.
They don't exist. It's all paper gold, paper silver. These are just
nuts.
Yeah, and it's crazy, and that has basically distorted the market dramatically. So we'll see where it all settles down.
Well, when you say that a lot of dealers are in short supply on the metals, what's the supply like at William Youngerman's?
We still have a good stock of silver, platinum, and gold. So
yep, you hear it, guys?
We can still supply our customers.
That's right. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Stop in. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can do all your transactions over the phone as well. Give him a call, toll free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. And online, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thanks.
All right, take care. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. Things this week is the beginning of just great things, okay? Nick Shirley and Benny Johnson have been, they're both in California, and they're covering the fraud of California. And things are coming out. Listen, it's 18% of the entire country's home health care billing comes out of Los Angeles. 18%. This is a clip of a story from Fox. Listen to this.
One doctor billed the government $120 million in the...
Now, it was clipped at the beginning. One doctor billed $120 million. Just one doctor.
One doctor billed the government $120 million in a single year, claiming to oversee 1,900 patients. With almost 2,000 hospice agencies, LA County has more than 36 states combined, and 30 times more than either Florida or New York.
18% of the whole country's home health care billing is coming out of Los Angeles County. How is that possible?
And take a look at this map, a cluster of 287 hospice providers in a 2-mile radius, some in strip malls, unmarked buildings, even a wrecking yard and vacant lot.
All of it is just paperwork. I could fill that out in Kazakhstan if I want and get a hospice license waiting for me.
Wow. I mean, and that's just a clip of a detailed story they did on Fox, which will blow your mind. And that was Dr. Oz that was talking in the cabinet meeting the other day. This is amazing. The American people, couple things about the American people. The American people don't mind paying taxes, right? They really don't. I mean, we understand we have a great country and a great system. People, but this endless fraud, you got to wonder, when you look at the national debt, how much of the national debt is just because of fraud, right? The Somali pirates and the Democrats of Minneapolis with the Leering Centers have been discovered. And now we're finding out L.A. Is responsible for 18% of all the Medicaid billing in the country. And we know what this is all about. It's all fraud. It's almost 100% fraud. And dollar amounts that are so high, the human mind cannot even comprehend the amount of money. This is one of the defining stories in the midterm election season. And people know this is what they're using the illegals for, whether it's the illegals of Minnesota or the illegals in Southern California. It's for this massive fraud operation. And this is the end of the Democrat Party as we know it. And Benny Johnson and Nick Shirley aren't the only ones doing reporting now, right? Fox News doing Nick Shirley-like reporting on the Medicaid fraud of California. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's Jennifer Knight out of California.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I know it's towards the end of the show, so I'll make it quick. No, I can almost guarantee you that Mr. Lamont ended up going to the closest hotel to wherever he was actually booked into custody and ended up freshening himself up. Guaranteed. He didn't come straight out of jail.
I've seen so many celebrities come out of jail. I've never seen a celebrity come out of jail looking like Don Lemon did on Friday.
Exactly. You come out of jail with a plastic bag of your possessions, paperwork, etc. He did not. No, sorry, that didn't happen. He went straight to a hotel, took a shower.
You think that press conference wasn't right out of the jail, that he showered and everything and then did the press pretending like he walked out of jail looking like that? Is that what you're saying? Oh, interesting.
I'm guaranteeing you that's exactly what happened. Your clothes do not get pressed or hung when you go in jail. They get thrown in a bag.
I'd also like to know how Jane Fonda ended up there and Karen Bass. How did they end up there with Don Lemon? How did that happen?
I don't know, but basically that's just to allow him time to be able to go to a hotel. I mean,
maybe
you don't come out of jail looking like that.
And his suit was perfect.
You don't.
Was that the suit he was arrested in?
It doesn't. Well, even if it was,
he might have gotten it pressed.
It gets thrown in.
He might have gotten it pressed.
Thrown in a bag.
Yeah.
Well, that takes time, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, he went to a hotel. He gussied himself up, came out, and acted all. I don't know.
Or they brought a glam squad and met him in the men's room.
That is possible. There's typically actually restrooms right in waiting rooms right before you.
And all these reporters. Not one reporter has even delved into what his 12 hours in jail was like. Did he go inside a cell? Nothing. We have nothing. No one's even asked.
No, I told you exactly what ends up happening with high-profile cases a couple of days ago. They don't get put in. They get segregated immediately. The windows that are to the cells, they get taped over because they don't want people peering in.
Yeah, but this was the Trump Justice Department. They're not into being a PR mechanism for Don Lemon. I wouldn't be so sure.
No, that's for safety precautions.
Well, separating, yes. Separating, yes. But I would think that the Trump Justice Department, Todd Blanchett and others would want him in a cell like a normal person.
Yeah, but first of all, I get what you're saying, but the jails are not run by the Trump DOJ. They're run by the local.
Well, he was under federal custody, right? It was a federal arrest.
It was a federal arrest, but usually when you get booked, you don't get booked.
And we haven't seen any footage of the arrest. I saw one person with knowledge saying that he thought he was getting mugged by MAGA people when they came to arrest him. And we haven't seen any arrest. They arrested him in that hotel. Where's the hotel footage? Listen, I'm up against the end of the show. I'll give you the last word.
The other thing too is you've already mentioned this, and we've discussed this. This whole medical institution, all it is a fraud. If you end up getting illegals out, it ends up causing a catastrophe within that sector.
Yep.
It's one of the reasons.
Well, listen, I got to run. We're running short on time, but I appreciate the call. I want to talk about Life Imaging FLA. I was talking earlier. We've had so many listeners that not only have gone to Life Imaging FLA for both the heart scanning and the cancer screening, but they've been finding out they got serious medical conditions. One listener found out he has a tumor. Multiple listeners have called and found out that they have heart issues, different ones, sometimes blockage, sometimes another heart issue. A woman went in with her husband. They both had the heart scan. Both of them had heart issues. And what all of these people have in common is not just that they took my advice and went over to Life Imaging FLA. None of them had any symptoms. Life Imaging FLA is all about preventative health. You're catching things long before they become so serious you can't take the necessary means to, survive. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You will be connected in seconds. That's pound 250, just say free heart scan, and you'll be connected in seconds. They have locations in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. We will be back tomorrow. Is it going to be cold like this tomorrow? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I hope not. I cannot wait for July and August and all of that hot humidity. When you guys are complaining about the heat and humidity of July and August, I'm going to remind you of this day and yesterday, the first 2 days of Black History Month. They're freezing us out in Florida. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. And if you're on hold, you'll be first in line tomorrow when we open up the show at 6 a.m. Stay warm, be safe. God bless Donald Trump, and go see Melania. See you tomorrow. All right, we're clear, guys. Hey, listen, everyone, thanks for tuning in. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, please do me the favor of liking the video and taking the link and sharing on all your social media and inviting your followers to check the show out. I do appreciate that. My name is Brian Craig. This is Where MAGA Comes to Talk. I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.